Body. Nothing. You give the girl and a lean, beautiful face. He is a slave, or was a slave for carnal pleasures. Yet he walks like a water lord. Am I now, my boy? Yes. You're used to knowing what's what. You think like the rest of them. I nod to the HC's reflection. Things are set in stone. Things are well ordered. Red's at the bottom, everyone else standing on our backs. Now you're looking at me, and you're realizing that we don't bloody damn like it down there. Red is rising, Mickey. Oh, you've got far to go. I reach up and grab his wrist so that he cannot move. He stares at me in the mirror's reflection, struggling against my hold. Nothing is stronger than a helldiver's grip. I smile into the mirror, locking my golden eyes with his violet ones. He smells like fear, primal terror, like a mouse cornered by a lion. Be kind to Evie, Mickey. Don't make her dance. Give her a plush life, or I'll come back to pull your hands off your body. Chapter 13. Bad Things. Mateo is a tall wisp of a pink with long limbs and a lean, beautiful face. He is a slave, or was a slave for carnal pleasures. Yet he walks like a water lord. Beauty in his step, manners and grace in the wave of his hand. He has a penchant for wearing gloves and sniffing at even the smallest bit of dirt. Body maintenance has been his life's purpose, so he doesn't find it strange when he helps me apply a hair follicle killer to my arms, legs, torso, and privates. But I do. When we're done, we're both cursing. Me from the sting, him from the punch I threw at his shoulder. I accidentally dislocated it just by punching it. I still don't know my own strength. And they do make their pinks fragile. If he is the rose, I am the thorns. Bold as a toddler, you frenetic little baby. Mateo sighs as properly as one can say such a thing. Just as the newest lunar fashion requires. Now, with a bit of eyebrow sculpting, oh, how your brows are like fungus-nibbling caterpillars, and nose hair eradication, cuticle readjustment, teeth whitening on those slick new chompers, which, if I may say, are yellow as mustard dappled with dandelions. Tell me, have you ever brushed your new teeth? And blackhead removal, which will be like probing for helium-3, toner adjustment and melatonin injections, and you'll be prim and rose properish. I snort at the foolishness of it all. I already look like a gold. You look like a bronze, a fool's gold. One of the low-bred bastards who look more khaki than gold. You must be perfect. You're a bloody damn odd lark, Mateo. He smacks me. Mind yourself. A gold would rather die than use that slithering mine slang. Gory damn, or gory, and slag instead of squad. Every time you say bloody or bloody damn, I will smack not your gob, but your mouth. And if you say squab or gob, I will kick you in the scrotum, which I do know my way around. As I will do if you do not get rid of that horrible accent. You sound like you were born in a gory damn dumpster. He frowns and sets his hands on his narrow hips. And then we will have to teach you manners. And culture, Goodman. I have manners. By the Maker, we are so going to have to make you forswear that brogue, as well as the cursing. He pokes me as he lists out my flaws. Might try adopting some manners of your own, butt boy. I growl. He pulls off one of my gloves and slaps me across the face and takes a bottle in hand and holds it to my throat. I laugh. You'll have to get your Helldiver reflexes back soon to go with that gawky new body. I eye the bottle. Going to poke me to death? It is a polyene sword, Goodman. A razor, in other words. One moment it is soft as hair, but with an organic impulse it turns harder than diamond. It is the only thing that will cut through a pulse shield. One moment a whip, the next moment a perfect sword. It is the weapon of a gentleman. A gold. For any other colour to carry it is death. It's a bottle, you daft. He jams me in the throat so that I gag. And it was your manners that forced me to draw my razor and challenge you, thereby precipitously ending your impudent life. You may have fought with fists for honour in that hovel you called home. You were a bug then, an ant. An aureate fights with a blade at the slightest provocation. They have honour the likes of which you know nothing about. Your honour was personal. Theirs is personal, familial, and planetary. That is all. They fight for higher stakes, and they do not forgive when the bloodletting is done, least of all the peerless scarred. Manners, Goodman. Manners will protect you until you can protect yourself from my shampoo bottle. Matteo, I say, rubbing my throat. Yes, he sighs. What is shampoo? Another stint in Mickey's carving room might have been preferable to Matteo's tutelage. At least Mickey was afraid of me. The next morning, Dancer tries to rename me. You will be the son of a relatively unknown family from the far asteroid clusters. Soon, the family will be dead in a shipping accident. You will be the lone survivor, and the only heir to their debts and poor status. His name, your name, will be Caius Au Andromedus. Slag that, I reply. I will be Darrow or I will be nothing. He scratches his head. Darrow is an odd name. You have made me give up the hair father gave me, the eyes mother left me, the colour I was born to. So I will keep the name they granted me, and you can make it work. I liked it better when you didn't act like a gold. Dancer grumbles. Now, the key to dining like an aureate is to eat slowly, Matteo says, as we sit together at a table in the penthouse where Dancer first showed me the world. You'll find yourself subjected to many Trimalchian feasts. On such occasions, there will be 7 courses. Appetizer, soup, fish, meat, salad, dessert, and libations. He gestures to a small tray laden with silverware and explains the various methods for eating with each. Then he tells me, if you must urinate or defecate during the meal, you hold it in. Controlling one's bodily functions is expected of an aureate. So these namby-pamby gold brows aren't allowed to shit? And when they do, I wonder, does it come out gold? Matteo slaps my cheek with his glove. If you're so eager to see red again, let your tongue slip in their presence, Goodman, and they'll be happy to remind you what colour all men bleed. Manners and control. You have neither. He shakes his head. Now, tell me what this fork is used for. I want to tell him it's used for picking his arse, but I sigh and give him the correct answer. Fish, but only if the bones are still in the dish. And how much of this fish are you to eat? All of it, I guess. No, he cries. Were you even listening? His small hands clutch his hair and he takes a deep breath. Must I remind you, there are bronzies, there are golds, and there are pixies. He leaves the rest for me to finish. Pixies have no self-control. I remember aloud. They take in all the treats of power, but do piss all to merit them. They are born and they chase pleasure. Righto? Prime. Not righto. Now, what is expected of a gold? Of a peerless god? Perfection. Which means? My voice is cold as I mimic a gold's accent. It means control, Goodman. Self-control. I am permitted to indulge in vices so long as I never permit them to usurp control. If there is a key to understanding Oriots, it is found in understanding control in all its forms. Eat the fish, leave 20% to indicate its deliciousness did not overpower my resolve to make slaves of my taste buds. So you were listening after all. Dancer finds me the next day as I practice my Oriot accent in the penthouse's hollow mirror. I can see a three-dimensional depiction of my head in front of me. The teeth move strangely, catching my tongue as I try to roll my words. I am still becoming used to my body, even months after the last of the surgeries. My teeth are larger than I initially thought them. It also doesn't help that the gold brows speak as though they've had golden shovels stuck up their bloody damn stink holes. So I find it easier to speak like one if I see that I am one. The arrogance comes easier. Soften your oars, Dancer tells me. He sits attentively as I read from a datapad. Pretend as though there is an H in front of each one. His burner reminds me of home, and I remember how Arch-Governor Augustus seemed in Lycos. I remember the man's serenity, his patient condescension, his smirk. Elongate the L's. Is that all the strength you have? I say into the mirror. Perfect, Dancer praises with a humorous shiver. He claps his good hand on his knee. Soon I'll be dreaming like I'm a bloody damn gold-browed too, I say in disgust. You shouldn't say bloody damn. Say gory or gory damn instead. I glare at him. If I saw myself on the street, I would hate me. I would want to take a sling blade and carve me from pucker to stinker and then burn the remains. Eo would puke to look at me. You're young still, Dancer laughs. God, I sometimes forget how young. He takes a flask out of his boot and downs some before tossing it to me. I laugh. Last time I drank, Uncle Nero drugged me. I take a drink. Maybe you've forgotten what the mines are like. I'm not young. Dancer frowns. I didn't mean to insult, Darrow. It's just, you understand what you're to do. You understand why you're to do it. But you still lose perspective and judge yourself. Right now, you probably get sick looking at your golden self, righto? Righto there. I drink deep from the flask. But you're only playing a part, Darrow. He twitches his finger, and a blade slips from the ring on his finger. My reflexes are back, and quick enough that I might have shoved it up into his throat if I thought he meant me harm. But I let him swipe the blade across my index finger. Blood wells out. Red blood. Just in case you need reminding what you really are. Smells like home, I say, sucking on the finger. Mum used to make blood soup out of the pit vipers. Not half bad, to the truth of it. You dip flax bread in it and sprinkle it in ochre blossom. How'd you know? I ask. My mum did the same. Dancer laughs. We'd have it at dance tide, or before the laurel tide when they'd announce the winner. Always squabbing gamma. Here's to gamma, I laugh, and finish another swig. Dancer watches me. The smile eventually slips from his face, and his eyes grow cold. Mateo's to teach you to dance tomorrow. Thought you'd be the one doing that, I say. He thumps his bad leg. Been a while since I've done that. Best dancer in Oikos. I could move like a deep-tunnel draft. All our best dancers were helldivers. I was one for several years, you know. I figured. Did you now? I gesture to his scars. Only a helldiver would be bit so many times without drill boys around to help pull the vipers off. Been bitten too. Got a bigger heart for it, at least. He nods, and his eyes go distant. Fell into a nest when fixing to repair a nodule on the claw drill. They were up in one of the ducts, and I didn't see them. They were the dangerous kind. I see where he's going with this. They were babies, I say. He nods. They have less venom, much less than their parents, so they weren't burrowers bent on laying eggs inside of me. But when they bit, they used all the evil in them. Fortunately, we had anti-venom with us. Traded some gammas for it. In Lycos, we had no anti-venom. He leans toward me. We're tossing you into a nest of baby vipers, Darrow. Mark that. Admissions testing is 3 months from now. I will be tutoring you in conjunction with your lessons from Mateo. But if you do not quit judging yourself, if you continue to hate your guys, then you will fail the test. Or worse, you'll pass it and then slip up and be found out while at the Institute. And everything will be squabbed. I shift in my seat. For once, there's another fear in me. Not of becoming something Io would not recognize, but a more primal fear. A mortal fear of my enemies. What will they be like? I already see their sneers, their contempt. Doesn't matter if they find me out. I clap Dancer's knee. They've taken what they can from me already. That is why I am a weapon you can use. Wrong, Dancer snaps. You're of use because you're more than a weapon. When your wife died, she didn't just give you a vendetta. She gave you her dream. You're its keeper, its maker. So don't be spitting anger and hate. You're not fighting against them, no matter what Harmony says. You're fighting for Io's dream, for your family that is still alive, your people. Is that Ares' opinion? I mean, is it yours? I'm not Ares. Dancer repeats. I don't believe him. I've seen the way his men look at him, how even Harmony pays him deference. Look into yourself, Darrow, and you'll realize that you are a good man who will have to do bad things. My hands are unscarred and feel strange while I clench them till the knuckles turn that familiar shade of white. See, that's what I don't get. If I'm a good man, then why do I want to do bad things? Chapter 14. Andromedas. Mateo cannot teach me to dance. He shows me what each of the 5 form dances of the Orient looks like, and we are through. More emphasis is put on your partner in gold dances than the dances my uncle taught me, but the movements are similar. I perform all 5 with greater skill than he can manage. To show off, I blindfold myself and perform each dance again, in succession, without music, by memory. Uncle Nerol taught me to dance, and with 1,000 nights of filling time with nothing but dance and song, I am masterful in recording the motions of my body, even this new body. It can do things my old one could not. The muscle fibers contract differently. The tendons stretch farther, The nerves fire faster. There's a sweet burn in the muscles as I flow through the movements. One dance, the Polemides, has a nostalgic feel. Matteo has me hold a baton as I move about in swirling steps, baton arm outstretched as though fighting with a razor. Even as my body moves, I hear the echoes of the past. I feel the vibrations of the mine, the scent of my clan. I have seen this dance before, and I perform it better than all the others. It is a dance my body is made for, one so very similar to the illegal reaping dance. When I finish, Matteo is angry. "Is this some sort of game?" he snarls. "What do you mean?" He glares at me and taps his foot. "You have never been beyond the mines?" "You know that answer," I reply. "You have never fought with a sword or shield?" "Yes, I have. I've also captained star cruisers and dined with praetors." I laugh and ask what this is about. "This is no game, Darrow." Did I say it was? I'm confused. What did I do to provoke him? I make a mistake in laughing to relieve the tension. "You laugh? Boy, this is the society with which you tangle. And you laugh? They are not some distant idea. They are cold reality. If they find out who you are, they will not hang you." His face looks lost as he says it, as though he knows only too well. I know this. He ignores me. "The Obsidians will catch you and give you to the Whites, and they will take you to their dark cells, and they will torture you. They will pull out your eyes and cut away anything that makes you a man. They have more sophisticated methods, but I wager information won't be their only aim. They have chemicals for that if they want. Soon after you tell them everything, they will kill me, Harmony, Dancer, and they will kill your family with flesh peelers and stomp on the heads of your nieces and nephews. These are the things they don't put on the HC. These are the consequences when the rulers of planets are your enemies. Planets, boy." I feel a chill creep into my bones. I know these things. Why does he keep hammering me with them? I'm already frightened. I don't want to be, but I am. My task is swallowing me whole. So I ask you again, are you who Dancer says you are? I pause. Ah. I assumed that trust ran deep with the sons of Ares, that they were of one mind. Here is a crack, a division. Matteo is Dancer's ally, but not a friend. Something in my dancing made him think twice. Then I realize it. He didn't see Mickey carve me. He is taking this all on faith that I was once a red, and how difficult that must be. Something in my dancing made him think I was born to this. Something to do with that last dance, the one they call the Polemides. I am Darrow, son of Dale, Lambda's helldiver of Lycos. I've never been anyone else, Matteo. He crosses his arms. If you are lying to me, I do not lie to low colors. Later that evening, I researched the dances I performed. Polemides is Greek for child of war. It is the dance that reminded me so much of Uncle Neryl's dances. It is the Gold's dance of war, the one they teach young children to prepare them for the motions of martial warfare and the use of the razor. I watch a hollow of Golds in battle, and my heart falls into my stomach. They fight like a summer song, not like the thunderous, monstrous obsidians, but like birds banking into a fresh wind. They fight in pairs, swerving, dancing, killing, ripping through a field of obsidian and grey, as though they were at play with scythes, and all the bodies that fell to them were like stalks of grain that sprayed blood instead of sallow chaff. Their golden armour shines. Their razors flash. They are gods, not men. And I mean to destroy them? I sleep poorly in my bed of silk that night. Long after kissing Eo's Himanthus blossom, I fall asleep and dream of my father and what it would have been like to have known him into manhood, to have learned to dance from him instead of from his drunken brother. I clutch the scarlet headband in my hand as I wake, holding it as dearly as I clutch my wedding band, all those things that remind me of home. Yet they are not enough. I am afraid. Dancer finds me at my morning breakfast. You'll be happy to know our hackers have spent 2 weeks hacking into the Board of Quality Control's cloud to change Caius Au Andromedus' name to Darrow Au Andromedus. Good. That's all you have to say. Do you know how much... Never mind. He shakes his head and gives a chuckle. Darrow. It's so... off-colour. There will be raised eyebrows. I shrug to conceal my fear. So I'll butcher their gory damn test and they'll care less than a lick. Spoken like a gold. The next day, Matteo takes me by ship to the stables of Ishtar, not far from Yorkton. It's a place by the sea, where green fields stretch over rolling hills. I've never been in so wide a place. I've never seen the land curve away from me. Never seen a true horizon, or animals so terrifying as the beasts Matteo arranged for our lesson. They stomp and stamp and snort, flicking their tails and baring their monstrous yellow teeth. Horses. I've always been scared of horses, despite Eo's story of Andromeda. They're monsters, I whispered to Matteo. Nevertheless, he whispers back, it is the gentleman's way. You must ride well, lest you find yourself embarrassed in some formal situation. I look at the other gulls riding past. There are only 3 at the stables today, each accompanied by a servant like Matteo, pinks and browns. A situation like this one? I hiss at him. Fine. Fine. I point to a massive black stallion with hooves that paw the ground. I'll take that beast. Matteo smiles. This one is more your speed. Matteo gives me a pony. A big pony, but a pony. There is no social interaction here. The other riders trot past and tip their heads to say good day, but that is all. So their smiles are enough for me to know how ridiculous I look. I do not take to riding well. And I take to it even more poorly when my pony bolts as Matteo and I navigate a path into a copse of trees. Out the other side of the copse, I jump off the creature and land deftly in the grass. Someone laughs in the distance. A girl with long hair. She rides the stallion I pointed to earlier. Maybe you ought to stick to the city, Pixie, she shouts at me, then kicks her horse away. I rise from my knee and watch her ride into the distance. Her hair spills out behind her, more golden than the setting sun. Chapter 15. The Testing. My test comes after 2 months of training my mind with Dancer. I do not memorize. I do not even really learn with him. Instead, his training is designed to help my mind adapt to paradigm shifts. For instance, if a fish has 3,453 scales on its left side and 3,453 on its right side, Which side of the fish has the most scales? The outside. They call it extrapolational thinking. It was how I knew I should eat the side card when I first met Dancer. I'm very good at it. I find it ironic that Dancer and his friends can create a fake history for me, a fake family, a fake life, but they cannot fake my admittance test. So, 3 months after my training begins, I take the test in a bright room next to a noisy mouse of a goldbrow girl who incessantly taps her stylus on a jade bracelet. She may be part of the test for all I know. When she's not looking, I snatch the stylus from her fingers and hide it down my sleeve. I am a helldiver of Lycos. So yes, I can steal a stupid girl's stylus without her knowing anything about it. She gawks around as if magic has been done. Then she begins to whine. They don't give her another stylus, so she runs out in tears. Afterward, the penny proctor looks at his datapad and rewinds a video from a nano camera. He looks at me and smiles. Such traits are apparently admirable. A golden razor blade of a girl disagrees and sneers, "Cutter," in my ear as she slices past me in the hall outside. Matteo told me not to speak to anyone because I am not yet ready to socialize, so I barely bite back a very red reply. Her words linger. Cutter. Cutthroat. Machiavellian. Ruthless. They all describe what she thinks of me. Funny thing is, most ghouls would see the term as an accolade. A musical voice addresses me. I think she actually just paid you a compliment. So don't mind her. She's pretty as a peach, but she's all rotten inside. I took a bite once, if you catch my flow. Tasty, then putrid. Fantastic grab in there, by the by. I was about to rip that ninny's eyes from her skull myself. Damnable tapping. The shining voice comes from a young man torn from Greek verse. Arrogance and beauty drip off him. Impeccable breeding. I've never seen a smile so wide and white, skin so smooth and lustrous. He's all I despise. He claps me on the shoulder and grasps my hand in one of the several ways of semi-formal introduction. I squeeze slightly. He has a firm grip too, but when he tries to establish dominance, I squeeze his hand till he jerks it back, a flash of worry in his eyes. By God, your hand is like a vice. He chuckles. He calls himself Cassius very quickly, and I'm lucky he gives me little time to speak because his brow wrinkles when I do. My accent is still not perfect. Taro, he repeats. Well, that's quite the off-color name. Ah. He looks at his datapad, pulling up my personal history. Well, you come from no one at all. A far planet hayseed. No wonder Antonius snared you away. But listen, I'll forgive you for it if you tell me how you fared on the test. Oh, you'll forgive me? His brows knit together. I'm trying to be kind here. We Bolognas aren't reformers, but we know that good men can come from low origins. Work with me, mate. Because of the way he looks, I feel a need to provoke him. Well, I dare say I expected the test to be more difficult. I might have missed the one about the candle, but besides that... Cassius watches me with a forgiving grin. His lively eyes dance over my face as I wonder if his mother coils his hair with golden irons in the morning. With hands like yours, you must be a terror with the razor, he says, pleadingly. I'm fair. I lie. Matteo won't let me touch the thing. Modesty. Were you raised by white cows, man? Never mind. I'm off to Aegea after the physical tests. Join me. I hear the carvers have done some splendid work with the new ladies at Temptation, and they just had grav floors installed at Tryst. We can float about without grav boots. What say you, man? Does that interest you? He taps one of his wings, and wings. Plenty of peaches there. None of them rotten. Unfortunately, I cannot. Oh! He jumps, as if just remembering I'm a far planet hayseed. Don't worry about it, my goodman. I'll pay and all that. I politely decline, but he's already moving on. He taps my datapad before he leaves. The hollow screen cast over the inside of my left arm flickers. The dimensions of his face and information about our conversation are left behind. The address for the clubs he spoke of, the encyclopedic reference for Aegea, and his family's information. Cassius au Bellona, it reads. Son of Praetor Tiberius au Bellona, Imperator of the Society's 6th Fleet, and perhaps the only man on Mars to rival Arch-Governor Augustus in power. Apparently, families hate one another. Seems like they have a nasty habit of killing each other off. Baby pit vipers indeed. I thought I would be frightened of these people. I thought they would be little godlings. But aside from Cassius and Antonia, many are unimpressive. There are only 70 in my testing room. Some look like Cassius, but not all are beautiful. Not all are tall and imperious. And very few strike me as men and women. For all their physical stature, they are children with exaggerated senses of self-worth. They don't know hardship. Babies. Pixies and bronzies, mostly. They test my physical properties next. I sit naked in an armchair in a white room as the copper testers of the quality control board watch me through nanocams. Hope you're getting a good look, I say. A brown worker comes in and applies a pinch to my nose. His eyes are blank. No fight in this one. No contempt for me. His skin is pallid, and his movements awkward and clumsy. I am instructed to hold my breath as long as my lungs will allow. 10 minutes. Afterward, the brown removes the clamp and leaves. Next, I am to take a breath and exhale. I do, and realize there is suddenly no oxygen in the chamber. When I start to tilt in my seat, the oxygen returns. They freeze the room and measure how long it takes for me to shiver uncontrollably. Then they heat it to see when my heart begins to struggle. They amplify the grav in the room till my heart can't push sufficient blood and oxygen to my brain. Then they see how much motion I can take till I vomit. I'm used to riding a 90-meter drill, so they have to give up. They measure the flow of oxygen to my muscles, the beats of my heart, the density and length of my muscle fibers, the tensile ratings of my bones. It's like a walk in the park after my hell with harmony. They have me throw balls, then line me up against the wall and ask me to stop small balls that they shoot at me with a circular machine. My Helldiver hands are faster than their machine, so they bring in a green techie to adjust the thing till it's shooting veritable rockets. Eventually, I'm hit with a ball in the forehead. I black out briefly. They measure that, too. An eye, ear, nose and mouth test later, and I'm done. I feel vaguely distant from myself after the test. Like they measured my body and my brain, but not me. I've had no personal interactions except that one with Cassius. I stumble into the locker rooms, sore and confused. There's a couple others changing, so I take my clothes and move along to a more discreet section of the long rows of plastic lockers. Then I hear a strange whistling. A tune I know. One that echoes through my dreams. The one Io died to. I follow the sound, and come upon a girl changing in the corner of the locker room. Her back is to me, muscles lean as she dons her shirt. I make a noise. She turns suddenly, and for an awkward moment I stand there blushing. Ghouls are not supposed to care about nudity, but I can't help my reaction. She's beautiful. Heart-shaped face, full lips, eyes that laugh at you. They laugh like they did as she rode away on the horse. It's the same girl who called me a pixie when I rode the pony. One of her eyebrows arches upward. I don't know what to say, so, in a panic, I turn and walk fast as I can out of the locker rooms. A gold wouldn't have done that. But as I sit with Matteo on the shuttle, as it ferries us back home, I remember the girl's face. She blushed too. It is a short flight, not long enough. I watch Mars through the duroglass floor. Though the planet is terraformed, vegetation is sparse along our flight path. The planet's surface is streaked with ribbons of green in its valleys and around her equator. The vegetation looks like green scars that cut across her pocked surface. Water fills her impact craters, creating grand lakes. And the Borealis Basin, which stretches across the northern hemisphere, brims with fresh water and teems with bizarre marine life. Great plains where dust devils gather cloaks of topsoil and tear through croplands. Storms and ice rule the poles where the obsidians train and live. The weather there is said to be brutal and cold, though temperate climes are prevalent throughout much of Mars's surface now. There are 1,000 cities on Mars, each ruled by a governor, the arch-governor presiding over all. Each city is set in the center of 100 mining colonies. The governors manage these colonies, with the individual mine magistrates like Paginas overseeing the day-to-day. With so many mines and so many cities, it was chance, I suppose, that brought the arch-governor to my home with his camera crew. Chance, and my position as a helldiver. They wanted to make an example out of me. Io was an afterthought. And she would not have sung if the arch-governor had not been there. Life's ironies are not charming. What will the Institute be like if I get in? I ask Matteo as I peer out the window. Full of classes, I imagine. How should I know? Is there no intel?
Relax.
No. No? I ask. Well, some, I suppose. Matteo admits. 3 sorts of people graduate. The peerless scarred, the graduates, and the shamed. The peerless can ascend in society. The graduates can as well, but their prospects are relatively limited, and they still must earn their scars. And the shamed are sent to the distant, hard colonies like Pluto to oversee the first years of terraforming. How does one become a peerless? I imagine there is some sort of ranking system. Perhaps a competition. I don't know. But the girls are a species built upon conquest. It would make sense if that were to be part of your competition. How vague. I sigh. You're as helpful as a legless dog sometimes. The game, Goodman, in Gold's society, is patronage. Your actions in the Institute will serve as an extended audition for that patronage. You need an apprenticeship. You need a powerful benefactor. He grins. So, if you want to help our cause, you will do as bloody damn well as you can. Imagine if you became an apprentice to a praetor. In 10 years' time, you could be a praetor yourself. You could have a fleet. Imagine what you could do with a fleet, my Goodman. Just imagine. Matteo never speaks about such flights of fancy, so the excitement in his eyes is contagious. It makes me imagine. Chapter 16. The Institute. My test results come when I am practicing my cultural recognition and accent modulation with Matteo in our high-rise penthouse. We have a view of the city, the setting sun behind. I'm midway through a clever retort about the Yorkton Supernova Faux War Sports Club when my datapad beeps with a priority message sent to my datapad stream. I almost spill my coffee. My datapad has been slaved by another, I say. It's the Board of Quality Control. Matteo shoots up from his chair. We have perhaps 4 minutes. He runs into the suite's library, where Harmony is reading on an ergo couch. She jumps up and is down and out of the suite in less than 3 breaths. I make sure that the hollow pictures of me with my fake family are arranged in my bedroom and throughout the penthouse. 4 hired servants, browns and a pink, go about domestic tasks in the penthouse. They wear the Pegasus livery of my fake family. One of the browns goes to the kitchen. The other, a pink woman, massages my shoulders. Matteo shines my shoes in my room. Of course, there are machines to do these things, but an Oriot would never use a machine for something a person could do. There's no power in that. The town craft appears like a distant dragonfly. It grows as it buzzes closer and hovers outside my penthouse window. Its boarding door slides open, and a man in a copper suit gives a bow of formality. I let my datapad open the Duroglass window, and the man floats in. 3 whites are with him. Each has a white sigil upon their hands, members of the Academians and a copper bureaucrat. Do I have the pleasure of addressing one Darrow Au Andromedus, son of the recently deceased Linus Au Andromedus and Lexus Au Andromedus? You have the honor. The bureaucrat looks me up and down, in a very deferential but impatient manner. I am Bondulus Sutankrus of the Institute's Board of Quality Control. There are some questions we must beg to ask of you. We sit across from one another at my oak kitchen table. There, they hook my finger to a machine, and one of the whites dons a pair of glasses that will analyze my pupils and other physiological reactions. They'll be able to tell if I am lying. We will start with a control question to assess your normal reaction when telling truths. Are you of the family Andromedus? Yes. Are you of the Oriot genus? Yes. I lie through my teeth, ruining their control questions. Did you cheat in your admissions test 2 months prior? No. Did you use nerve nucleic to stimulate high comprehension and analytical functions during the test itself? No. Did you use a network widget to aggregate or synthesize outside resources in real time? No. I sigh impatiently. There was a jammer in the room. Ergo, it would have been impossible. I'm glad you've done your research and are not wasting my time, copper. His smile is bureaucratic. Did you have prior knowledge of the questions? No. I deem an angry response proper at this point. And what is this about? I'm not accustomed to being called a liar by someone of your ilk. It is procedure with all elite scorers, Lord Oriot. I beg your understanding. The bureaucrat drones. Any upward outlier far removed from the standard deviation is subject to inquiry. Did you slave your widget to that of another individual during the test? No. As I said, there was a jammer. Thank you for keeping up, Pennyhead. They take a sample of my blood and scan my brain. The results are instantaneous, but the bureaucrat will not share them. Protocol, he reminds me. You will have your results in 2 weeks. We receive them in 4. I pass the quality control examination. I did not cheat. Then comes my exam score, 2 months after I took the damn thing, and I realize why they thought I did cheat. I missed 1 question. Just 1. Out of hundreds. When I share the results with Dancer, Harmony and Matteo, they simply stare at me. Dancer falls into a chair and begins to laugh. It's an hysterical sort. Bloody hell, he swears. We've done it. He did it, Matteo corrects. It takes Dancer a minute before he has wits enough to fetch a bottle of champagne, but I still feel his eyes watching me, as though I am something different, something strange. It's like they suddenly don't understand what it is they've created. I touch the Hyamanthus blossom in my pocket and feel the wedding band around my neck. They didn't create me. She did. It's when a valet arrives to escort me to the Institute that I say my goodbyes to Dancer inside the penthouse. He holds tight to my hand as we shake and gives me the look my father gave me before he was hanged. It's one of reassurance. But behind that is worry and doubt. Did he prepare me for the world? Did he do his duty? My father was 25 when he looked at me like that. Dancer is 41. It makes no difference. I chuckle. Uncle Neril never gave me such a look, not even when he let me cut Io down. Probably because he'd taken enough of my right hooks to know the answer. But if I think about my teachers, my fathers, Uncle Neril shaped me the most. He taught me to dance. He taught me how to be a man. Perhaps because he knew this would be my future. And though he tried to stop me from being a helldiver, it was his lessons that kept me alive. I've learned new lessons now. Let's hope they do the trick. Dancer gives me the knife ring he used to slice my finger months before. He's reshaped it to look like an L. They'll think it the chevron the Spartans bore on their shields, he says. L for Lacedaemonia. But it is for Lycos, for Lambda. Harmony surprises me by taking my right hand, kissing where once my red sigil was emblazoned. She's got tears in one eye, the cold, unscarred eye. The other cannot cry. Evie will be coming to live with us, she tells me. She smiles before I can ask why. It looks strange on her face. You think you're the only one who notices things? We'll give her a better life than Mickey would. Matteo and I share a smile and a bow. We exchange proper honorifics as he extends his hand. It doesn't grasp mine. Instead, it snatches the flower from my pocket. I reach after it, but he's still the only man I've ever met who is faster than me. You cannot take this with you, Goodman. The wedding band on your hand is queer enough. The flower is too much. Give me a petal, then, I say. I thought you would ask for that. He pulls out a necklace. It is the sigil of Andromedos. My sigil, I remember. It is iron. He drops it in my hand. Whisper her name. I do, and the Pegasus unfurls like a Hyamanthus bud. He sets a petal in the center. It closes again. This is your heart. Guard it with iron. Thank you, Matteo, I say, tears in my eyes. I pick him up and hug him, despite his protests. If I live more than a week, I'll have you to thank, my Goodman. He blushes when I set him down. Manage your temper, he reminds me, his small voice darkening. Manners, manners. Then burn the bloody damn house to the ground. I clutch the Pegasus in my hand as the shuttle crosses over the Martian countryside. Fingers of green stretch over the earth I've lived to dig. I wonder who the helldiver of Lambda is now. Lauren is too young. Barlow is too old. Kieran, he's too responsible. He's got children to love, and he's seen enough of our family die. There's no fire in his belly. Lyanna's got enough, but women aren't allowed to dig. It's probably Dane, Eo's brother. Wild, but not bright. The typical helldiver. He'll die fast. The thought makes me nauseous. It's not just the thought. I'm nervous. I realise it slowly as I look around the shuttle's interior. 6 other youths sit quietly. One, a slender boy with an open gaze and pretty smile, catches my eye. He's the sort who still laughs at butterflies. Julian, he declares properly, and takes my forearm. We have no data to offer each other through our data pads. They took them when we boarded the shuttle. So instead, I offer him the seat across from me. Taro. A very interesting name. Have you ever been to Aegea? I ask Julian. Course, he says, smiling. He always smiles. What? You mean you haven't? It's strange. I thought I knew so many goals, but hardly any of them managed to get past the entrance exams. It's a brave new world of faces, I fear. Anyway, I envy you the fact you haven't been to Aegea. It's a strange place. Beautiful, no doubt, but life there is fast and cheap. So they say. But not for us. He chuckles. I suppose not. Not unless you play at politics. I don't much like playing. I notice his reaction, so I laugh my seriousness off with a wink. Not unless there's a wager, man. You hear? I hear. What's your game? Blood chess? Grav cross? Oh, blood chess is all right. But faux war takes the prize. I say with a golden grin. Especially if you're a Nortown fan. He agrees. Oh. Nortown. I don't know if we'll get along, I say, wincing. I jab myself with a thumb. Yorkton. Yorkton? I don't know if we'll ever get along. He laughs. And though I smile, he doesn't know how cold I am inside. The conversation, the jibes, the smiles are all a pattern of sociality. Mateo's done me well, but to Julian's credit, he doesn't seem a monster. He should be a monster. My brother must already have arrived at the Institute. He was already in Aegea at our family's estate, causing trouble, no doubt. Julian shakes his head proudly. Best man I know. He'll be the Primus, just you watch. Our father's pride and joy. And that's saying something with how many family members I have. Not a flicker of jealousy in his voice. Just love. Primus? I ask. Oh, Institute talk. It means leader of his house. The houses. I know these. There are 12, loosely based on underlying personality traits. Each is named for one of the gods of the Roman pantheon. The schoolhouses are networking tools and social clubs outside of school. Do well and they'll find you a powerful family to serve. The families are the true powers in the society. They have their own armies and fleets and contribute to the sovereign's forces. Loyalty begins with them. There's little love for the denizens of one's own planet. If anything, they are the competition. You sobs done beating each other off yet? An impish kid sneers from the corner of the shuttle. He's so drab, he is khaki instead of gold. His lips are thin, and his face like a cruel hawk, just as it spies a mouse. A bronze. Are we bothering you? My sarcasm has a polite nip. Does 2 dogs humping bother me? Likely, yes, if they're noisy. Julian stands. Apologise, cur. Go slag yourself, the small kid says. In half a second, Julian has drawn a white glove from nowhere. That to wipe my arse, you golden pricklick. What? You little heathen, Julian says in shock. Who raised you? Wolves. After your mother's cooch spat me out. You beast! Julian throws the glove at the small kid. I'm watching, thinking this is the height of comedy. The kid seems pulled straight from the Lycos crop. Beta, maybe. He's like an ugly, tiny, irritable Lauren. Julian doesn't know what to do, so he makes a challenge. A challenge, Goodman? A duel. You're that offended? The ugly kid snorts at the princeling. Fine. I'll stitch your family pride together after the passage, pricklick. He blows his nose into the glove. Why not now, coward? Julian calls. His slender chest is puffed out just as his father must have taught him. No one insults his family. Are you stupid? Do you see razors about? Idiot. Go away. We'll duel after the passage. Passage? Julian finally asks what I'm thinking. The scrawny kid grins wickedly. Even his teeth are khaki. It's the last test, idiot. And the best secret this side of the rings around Octavia O'Loon's cooch. Then how do you know about it? I ask. Inside track, the kid says. And I don't know about it. I know of it, you giant pisshead. His name is Severo, and I like his angle. But the talk of a passage worries me. There's so little I know, I realise, as I listen in as Julian strikes up a conversation with the last member of our shuttle. They talk about their test scores. There is a severe disparity between their low scores and mine. I notice Severo snort as they say theirs aloud. How did applicants with such low scores get in? I've got an ill feeling in my gut. And what did Severo score? We come to the Valles Marineris in darkness. It is a great scar of light across Mars's black surface, going as far as eyes can see. At the centre of it, the capital city of my planet rises in the night like a garden of jewel swords. Nightclubs flicker on rooftops, dance floors made of condensed air. Scantily dressed girls and foolish boys rise and fall as grav mixers play with physics. Noise bubbles separate city blocks. We cut through them and hear worlds of different sounds. The Institute is beyond Aegea's night districts and is built into the side of the 8-kilometre-high walls of the Valles Marineris. The walls rise like tidal waves of green stone, cradling civilization with flora. The Institute itself is made of white stone, a place of columns and sculpture, Roman to its core. I have not been here before, but I have seen the columns, seen the destination of our voyage. Bitterness wells in me, like bile rising from stomach to throat as I think of his face, think of his words, his eyes as they scanned the crowd. I watched on the HC as the Arch-Governor gave his speech time and again to the classes before my own. Soon I'll hear it from his lips myself. Soon I'll suffer the rage, feel the fire lick over my heart as I see him in person once again. We land on a drop pad and are shepherded into an open-air marble square looking over the vast valley. The night air is crisp. Aegea sprawls behind, and the gates of the Institute stretch before us. I stand with over 1,000 gold-brows, all glancing about with the cocksureness of their race. Many clumped together, friends from beyond the white walls of the school. I did not think their classes so large. A tall, golden man, flanked by obsidians and a coterie of gold advisors, rises on a pair of grav boots before the gate. My heart goes cold as I recognize his face, and hear his voice, and see the glimmer in his ingot eyes. Welcome, children of Oriat, Arch-Governor Nero Augustus says in a voice as smooth as Eo's skin. It is preternaturally loud. I assume you understand the gravity of your presence here. Of the 1,000 cities of Mars, of all the great families, you are the chosen few. You are the peak of the human pyramid. Today, you will begin your campaign to join the best caste of our race. Your fellows stand like you in the institutes of Venus, of the eastern and western hemispheres of Earth, of Luna, of the gas giant moons, of Europa, of the Astrodian Greek cluster and the Astrodian Trojan cluster, of Mercury, of Callisto, of the joint venture Enceladus and Ceres, and of the far pioneers of Hildus. It seems only a day ago that I knew I was a pioneer of Mars. Only a day ago that I suffered so that humanity, desperate to leave a dying Earth, could spread to the red planet. Oh, how well my rulers lied. Behind Augustus, in the stars, there's movement. But it is not the stars that move. Nor is it asteroids or comets. It is the 6th and 5th fleets, the Armada of Mars. My breath catches in my chest. The 6th fleet is commanded by Cassius's father, while the smaller 5th fleet is under the Arch-Governor's direct control. Most of the ships are owned by families who owe allegiance to either Augustus or Bellona. Augustus shows us why they, rule. My flesh tingles. I am so small. 1 billion tons of durosteel and nanometal move through the heavens, and I have never been beyond Mars's atmosphere. They are like specks of silver in an ocean of ink, and I am so much less. But those specks could ravage Mars. They could destroy a moon. Those specks rule the ink. An imperator commands each fleet. A praetor commands squadrons within that fleet. What I could do with that power. Augustus is haughty as he gives his speech. I swallow the bile in my throat. Because of the impossible distance of my enemies, my anger was once a cold, quiet sort. Now, it burns in me. Society has 3 stages: savagery, ascendance, decadence. The great rise because of savagery. They rule in ascendance. They fall because of their own decadence. He tells us how the Persians were felled, how the Romans collapsed because their rulers forgot how their parents gained them an empire. He prattles about Muslim dynasties and European effeminacy and Chinese regionalism and American self-loathing and self-neutering. All the ancient names. Our savagery began when our capital, Luna, rebelled against the tyranny of Earth and freed herself from the shackles of democracy, from the noble lie, the idea that men are brothers and are created equal. Augustus weaves lies of his own with that golden tongue of his. He tells of the Golden's suffering. The masses sat on the wagon and expected the great to pull, he reminds. They sat whipping the great until we could no longer take it. I remember a different whipping. Men are not created equal. We all know this. There are averages. There are outliers. There are the ugly. There are the beautiful. This would not be if we were all equal. A red can no more command a starship than a green can serve as a doctor. There's more laughter across the square as he tells us to look at pathetic Athens, the birthplace of the cancer they call democracy. Look how it fell to Sparta. The noble lie made Athens weak. It made their citizens turn on their best general, Alcibiades, because of jealousy. Even the nations of Earth grew jealous of one another. The United States of America exacted this idea of equality through force. And, when the nations united, the Americans were surprised to find that they were disliked. The masses are jealous. How wonderful a dream it would be if all men were created equal. But we are not. It is against the noble lie that we fight. But as I said before, as I say to you now, there is another evil against which we war. It is a more pernicious evil. It is a subversive, slow evil. It is not a wildfire. It is a cancer. And that cancer is decadence. Our society has passed from savagery to ascendance, but like our spiritual ancestors, the Romans, we too can fall into decadence. He speaks of the pixies. You are the best of humanity, but you have been coddled. You have been treated like children. Were you born to a different color, you would have calluses. You would have scars. You would know pain. He smiles as if he knows pain. I hate this man. You think you know pain. You think the society is an inevitable force of history. You think her the end of history. But many have thought that before. Many ruling classes have believed theirs to be the last, the pinnacle. They grew soft, fat. They forgot that calluses, wounds, scars, hardship preserve all those fine pleasure clubs you young boys love to frequent, and all those fine silks and diamonds and unicorns you girls ask for on birthdays. Many Oreots have not sacrificed. That is why they do not wear this. He shows a long scar on his right cheek. Octavia O'Loon has the same scar. The scar of a peer. We are not the masters of the solar system because we are born. We are the masters because we, the peerless scarred, the iron golds, made it that way. He touches the scar on his cheek. I'd give him another if I were closer. The children around me suck down this man's garbage like oxygen. Right now, the colors who mine this planet are harder than you. They are born with calluses, born with scars and hatred. They are tough as nanosteel. Fortunately, they are also very stupid. For instance, this Persephone, you have no doubt heard of, is nothing more than a dim girl who thought singing a song was worth a hanging. I bite a bloody hole in my cheek. My skin shivers from rage as I find out that my wife is part of this bastard speech. The girl did not even know the video would be leaked. Yet it is her willingness to suffer hardship that gave her power. Martyrs, you see, are like bees. Their only power comes in death. How many of you would sacrifice yourself to not kill, but merely hurt your enemy? Not one of you, I wager. I taste the blood in my mouth. I have the knife ring Dancer gave me, but I breathe the fury down. I am no martyr. I am not vengeance. I am Eo's dream. Still, doing nothing while our murderer gloats feels like a betrayal. In time you will receive your scars from my sword. Augustus closes. But first, you must earn them. Chapter 17. The Draft. Son of Linus and Lexus au Andromedus, both of the House Apollo. Would you prefer to mark yourself as requesting House Apollo preferentiality? A tedious Oriat administrator asks me. Goldbrow's first loyalty is to colour, then family, then planet, then house. Most houses are dominated by one or two powerful families. On Mars, the family Augustus, the family Bellona, and the family Arcos influence all others. No, I reply. He shuffles over his datapad. Very well. How do you believe you performed on the slang smarts test? That is the extrapolational test, he clarifies. I think my results speak for themselves. You are not paying attention, Darrow. I shall mark that against you. I am asking for you to speak for your results. I think I took a gory piss on your test, sir. Ah. He smiles. Well, you did. You did. House Minerva for brains might be right for you. Perhaps Pluto for the deviousness. Apollo for the pride. Yes.
Just the thing for you.
Well, I have a test for you. Please complete it to the best of your ability. Interviews will commence when you have finished. The test is quick, and it is in the form of an immersion game. There's a goblet on a hill that I need to acquire. Many obstacles stand in my way. I pass them as rationally as possible, trying to hide my anger when a little elf steals a key I acquire. But every step of the way, there's some damn setback, some inconvenience. And it's always unforeseen. It's always something beyond the bounds of extrapolation. In the end, I reached the goblet, but only after killing an annoying wizard and cruelly enslaving the race of elves by means of said wizard's magic wand. I could have left the elves be, but they annoyed me. Soon, the interviewers come in intervals. I learn they are called proctors. Each one of them is a peerless scard. They are chosen by the Arch-Governor to teach and represent the students of the house within the Institute. All said, the proctors are impressive. There's a huge, scarred man with hair like a lion and a lightning bolt on his collar for Jupiter. A matronly woman with gentle golden eyes, and a quick-witted man with winged feet on his collar. He can't sit still, and his baby face seems immensely fascinated by my hands. He makes me play a game with him, in which he puts out both hands flat and facing up, and I put mine atop, facing down. He tries slapping my hands, but never quite manages. He leaves after clapping his hands together in joy. Another strange encounter comes when a beautiful man with coiled hair interviews me. A bow marks his collar. Apollo. He asks me how attractive I believe myself to be, and is displeased when I undershoot his estimate. Still, I think he likes me, because he asks me what I would like to be one day. An imperator of a fleet, I say. You could do great things with a fleet, but a lofty notion. He sighs, accenting every word with a feline purr. Perhaps too lofty for your family. Maybe if you had a benefactor of better familial origin. Yes, maybe then. He looks at his datapad. But unlikely due to your birth. Best of luck. I sit alone for an hour or more, till a sullen man comes to join me. His unfortunate face is pinched like a hatchet, but he has the scar, and a razor hilt hangs on his hip. His name is Fitchner. A wad of gum fills his mouth. The uniform he wears is black with gold, and it nearly conceals the slight belly paunch that sticks outward despite the faint smell of metabolizers. Like many of the others, he wears badges about his personage, A golden wolf with 2 heads decorates his collar, and a strange hand marks his cuff. "They give me the mad dogs," he says. "They give me the killers of our race, the ones full of piss and napalm and vinegar." He sniffs the air. "You smell full of shit." I say nothing.
Watch over you.
He leans against the door and frowns, as though it offended him in some way. Then back to me, sniffing improperly. "Problem is, we of House Mars always burn out. Kids rule the Institute at first. Then they find out that napalm lasts about..." He snaps his fingers. I have no reply. He sighs and plops down in a chair. After a while of watching me, he stands and punches me in the face. "If you punch me back, you will be sent home, pixie." I kick him in the shin. He limps away, laughing like a drunk Uncle Nero. I'm not sent home. Instead, I find myself escorted with 100 others into a large room with float chairs and a large wall dominated by ivory gridwork. The gridwork forms a checkerboard square on the wall, 10 rows high, 10 rows across. I'm taken on a lift to the middle row, some 50 feet off the ground. 99 other students are ushered in till each box is filled. This is the prime crop, the best of the students. I look out from my box, peering up above me. A girl's feet dangle out of the box above my head. Numbers and letters appear in front of my box, my statistics. Supposedly, I'm very rash and have upper outlier characteristics in intuition and loyalty and, most noticeably, rage. There are 12 groups in the audience. Each group sits close together in float chairs around vertical golden standards. I see an archer, a lightning bolt, an owl, a wolf with 2 heads, an upside-down crown, and a trident, amongst others. One of the proctors accompanies each group. They alone do not have their faces covered. The others wear ceremonial masks, featureless and golden and slightly like the animals of their houses. If only I had known this was going to happen, I might have brought a nuke. These are the drafters, the men and women of highest prestige. Praetors and imperators and tribunes and adjudicators and governors sit there watching me, trying to choose the new students for their house, trying to find young men and women they can test and offer apprenticeships. With one bomb, I could have destroyed the best and the brightest of their golden rule. Maybe that's the rashness speaking. The draft begins when a titan of a Gen Alt boy is chosen first to the House of the Lightning Bolt, House Jupiter. Then go more girls and boys of unnatural beauty and physical prowess. I can only guess they are geniuses as well. The 5th pick comes. The baby-faced interviewer with the winged feet floats up to me on golden boots. Several of the drafters of House Mercury float along with him. They speak quietly amongst themselves, before asking me questions. Who are your parents? What are their family's accomplishments? I tell them about my modest, false family. One of them seems to think highly of a relative of mine who has long since passed away, but despite the proctor's objections, they pass me over for another student from a family with the ownership of 90 mines and a stake on one of Mars's southern continents. The Mercury proctor curses and shoots me a quick smile. Hope you're available next round, he says. Next goes a delicate girl with a mocking smile. I can barely pay attention, and, at times, it is difficult to see who else is being selected. We're arrayed in an odd way. With the 10th pick, the proctor who struck me in the interviews floats my way. There is disagreement among the drafters. I have 2 ardent advocates, One is as tall as Augustus, but her hair flows down to her spine in 3 golden braids. The second is broader, not very tall. He's old. Can tell by the scars and wrinkles on his thick hands. Hands that bear the signet ring of an Olympic knight. I know him immediately, even without seeing his face. Lorn au Arcos, the Rage Knight, the 3rd greatest man on Mars, who chose to serve the Society by safeguarding the Society's compact instead of reaching for crowns in politics. When he points to me, Fitchner grins. I am chosen 10th. 10th out of 1,000. Chapter 18. Classmates. I feel a sinking in my stomach as I walk with the chattering mass into the dining hall. It is overgrand. White marble floors, columns, a hollow sky displaying birds in flight at sunset. The Institute is not what I expected. According to Augustus, the classes are to be hard on these little godlings. I snort down a laugh. Let the lot of them spend a year in a mine. There are 12 tables, each with 100 place settings. Our names float above the chairs in golden letters. Mine floats to the right of a table's head. It is a place of distinction. The first draft. A single bar floats to the right of my name. A -1 is to the left. The first to get 5 bars becomes primus of his house. Each bar is bounty for an act of merit. Apparently, my high score on the test was the first bit of merit. Wonderful. A cutter in the lead for primus. A familiar voice says. The girl from the exam. I read her name. Antonia Au Severus. She has cruel good looks. High cheekbones, a smirking smile. Scorn in her eyes. Her hair is long, full and golden as Midas's touch. She was born to be hated and to hate. A -5 floats beside her name. It is the second closest score to mine at the table. Cassius, the boy I met at testing, sits diagonally across from me. A -6 shimmers by his broad smile. He runs a hand back through his curls. Another boy sits directly across from me. -1 and a golden bar float by his name. While Cassius lounges, this other boy, Priam, sits as straight as a blade. His face is celestial, his eyes alert, his hair coiffed. He's tall as me, but broad in the shoulders. I don't think I've ever seen a more perfect human being. A bloody damn statue. He wasn't in the draft, I discover. He is what they call a premier. They cannot be drafted. His parents chose his house. Then I discover why. His scandalous mother, a banner woman of the House Bologna, owns our planet's 2 moons. Fate brings us together again, Cassius chuckles to me. And Antonia, my love. It seems our fathers conspired to place us side by side. Antonia replies with a sneer. Remind me to beam him a thank you. Tony! No need for nastiness. He wags a finger. Now toss me a smile like a good doll. She flips him the crux with her fingers. Rather toss you out a window, Cassie. Roar! Cassius blows her a kiss. She ignores it. So, Priam, I suppose you and I will have to play gentle with these fools, eh? Oh, they look like swell sorts to me. Priam replies primly. I fancy we'll do very well as a group. They talk in high lingo. If the dregs of the draft don't weigh us down, my good man. He gestures to the end of the table and starts naming them. Screwface, for obvious reasons. Clown, because of that ridiculous puffy hair. Weed, because, well, he's thin. Oi, you you're Thistle because your nose looks hooked as one. And that itty-bitty one right there next to the bronzy-looking fellow, that's little Pebble. I think they will rather surprise you, Priam says in defense of the far end of the table. They may not be as tall, or as athletic, or even as intelligent as you or me, if intelligence really can be measured by that test, but I do not think it charity to say that they will be the spine of our group. Salt of the earth, if you will. Good sorts. I see the small kid from the shuttle, Several, at the very foot of the table. The salt of the earth is not making friends. And neither am I. Cassius glances my -1. I see him concede that Priam might have scored better than he, but Cassius makes a point in saying he's never heard of my parents. So, dear Darrow, how did you cheat? He asks. Antonia glances over from her conversation with Arya, a small girl made of curling hair and dimples. Oh, come now, man. I laugh. They sent quality control after me. How could I have cheated? Impossible. Did you cheat? Your score is high. I speak the mid-lingo. It's more comfortable than the high lingo fart dust Priam jabbers on in. Me? Cheat? No. Just didn't try enough, apparently. Cassius replies. If I had my wits, I'd have spent less time with the girls and more on studying, like you. He's trying to tell me if he tried, he could have done just as well, but he's too busy to put in as much effort. If I wanted him as a friend, I'd let him get away with it. You studied? I ask. I feel a sudden urge to embarrass him. I didn't study at all. A chill goes through the air. I shouldn't have said it. My stomach plummets. Manners. Cassius's face sours and Antonia smirks. I've insulted him. Priam frowns. If I want a career in the fleet, then I will likely need Cassius Aubellona's father's patronage. Son of an imperator. Matteo drilled this into me. How easy it is to forget. The fleet is where the power is. Fleet, or government, or army. And I don't like government, not to mention that this sort of insult is how duels begin. Fear trickles down my spine as I realize how thin a line there is to tread. Cassius knows how to duel. I, for all my new skills, do not. He would rip me to pieces. And he looks like he wants to do just that. I joke. I tilt my head to Cassius. Come on, man. How could I score so high and not have studied till my eyes were bleeding? Wish I'd spent more time fooling off like you. We're in the same spot now, after all. Fat lot that studying did for me. Priam nods his approval at the peace offering. I bet it was a slog, Cassius crows, tipping his head to acknowledge my peculiar breed of apology. I expected the play to go over his head, thought his pride would blind him to my sudden apology. The gold may be proud, but he isn't stupid. None of them are. Have to remember that. After that, I do Matteo proud. I flirt with a girl named Quinn, befriend and joke with Cassius and Priam, who has probably never sworn in his life. Throw my hand out to a tall brute named Titus, whose neck is as thick as my thigh. He squeezes too hard, on purpose. He's surprised when I nearly break his hand, but damn is his grip strong. The boy is even taller than Cassius and I, and he's got a voice like a titan. But he grins when he realizes that my grip, if nothing else, is stronger than his. Something strange about his voice, though. Something decidedly disdainful. There's also a feather of a boy named Roke, who looks and speaks like a poet. His smiles are slow, few, but genuine. Rare. Cassius! Julian calls. Cassius stands and throws an arm around his thinner, prettier twin. I didn't piece it together before. But they are brothers. Twins. Not identical. Julian did say his brother was already in Aegea. Darrow here is not what he seems, Julian tells the table with a very grave face. He has a knack for theatrics. You don't mean... Cassius puts a hand to his mouth. My finger grazes my steak knife. Yes. Julian nods solemnly. No. Cassius shakes his head. He's not a Yorkton supporter. Julian, tell me it isn't so. Darrow. Darrow, how could you be? They never win a game. Priam, are you hearing this? I throw my hands up in apology. A curse of birth, I suppose. I am a product of my upbringing. I cheer for the underdog. I manage not to sneer the words. He confessed it to me on the shuttle. Julian is proud to know me. Proud his brother knows he knows me. He looks for Cassius's approval. Cassius isn't oblivious to this either. He gently doles out a compliment and Julian leaves the high drafts and returns to his mid-draft seat halfway down the table with a content smile and squared shoulders. I didn't think Cassius would be the kind sort. Of those I meet, only Antonia openly dislikes me. She doesn't watch me like the others at the table. From her, I feel only a distant breed of contempt. One moment she's laughing, flirting with Roke, and then she feels my gaze and becomes ice. The feeling is mutual. My dormitory is from a dream. Gold trim lines a window that looks out into the valley. A bed is laden with silks and quilts and satins. I lie in it when a pink masseur comes in and stays for an hour, kneading my muscles. Later, 3 lithe pinks file through to tend to my needs. I send them to Cassius's room instead. To calm the temptation, I take a cold shower and immerse myself in a hollow experience of a digger in the mining colony Corinth. The helldiver in the hollow experience is less talented than I was, but the rattling, the simulated heat, the darkness and the vipers, they comfort me so much that I wrap my old scarlet rag around my head. More food comes. Augustus was all talk, gob full of exaggerations. This is their version of hardship. I feel guilty as I fall asleep with a full stomach, clutching the locket with Eo's flower inside. My family will go to bed hungry tonight. I whisper her name. I take the wedding band from my pocket and kiss it. Feel the ache. They stole her. But she let them. She left me. She left me tears and pain and longing. She left me to give me anger. And I cannot help but hate her for a moment, even though beyond that moment, there's only love. Eo, I whisper, and the locket closes. Chapter 19. The Passage. I vomit as I wake. A second fist strikes my full stomach, then a third. I'm empty and gasping for air. Drowning in my sick, coughing, hacking, I try to scramble away. A man's hand grabs me by the hair and throws me into the wall. God, he's bloody strong. And he's got extra fingers. I reach for my knife ring, but they've already dragged me into the hall. I've never been so manhandled. Even my new body can't recover from their strikes. There's 4 of them in black. Crows. The killers. They've discovered me. They know what I am. It's over. All over. Their faces are expressionless skulls. Masks. I pull the knife I took from dinner from my waist, and I'm about to stab one of them in the groin. Then I see the flash of gold on their wrists, and they hit me till I drop the knife. It's a test. Their strikes against a higher colour are sanctioned by the issuer of the bracelets. They haven't found me out at all. A test. That is what this is. It is a test. They could have used stunners. There's a purpose to the beating. It's something most ghouls have never experienced, so I wait. I curl up and let them beat me. When I don't resist, they think they've done their job. They sort of do. I'm ragged shit by the time they're satisfied. I'm dragged through the hallway by men nearly 3 meters tall. A bag is shoved over my head. They're staying away from technology to scare me. I wonder how many of these kids have felt physical force like this. How many have been so dehumanized? The bag smells like death and piss as they drag me along. I start laughing. It's like my bloody damn fry suit. Then a fist hits my chest and I crumple, gasping. The hood also has a sound device installed. I'm not breathing hard, but my breaths come back louder than they should. There are over 1,000 students. Dozens at a time must suffer this same fate. Yet I hear nothing. They don't want me to hear the others. I'm supposed to think I'm alone, that my colour means nothing. Surprisingly, I find myself offended that they dare strike me. Don't they know I'm a bloody damn gold? Then I snort back a laugh. Effective tricks. I'm lifted up and thrown hard onto a floor. I feel a vibration, the smell of exhaust. Soon, we're in the air. Something in the bag covering my head disorients me. I can't tell which direction we're flying, how high we've risen. The sound of my own raspy breath has become terrible. I think the bag also filters out oxygen because I'm hyperventilating. Still, it's not worse than a fry suit. Later. An hour? 2? We land. They drag me by my heels. My head bumps on stone, jarring me. It's not till much later that they take the bag off my head in a barren stone room lit by a single light. Another person is already here. The crows strip away my clothing, rip away the precious Pegasus pendant. They leave. Cold in here, Julian. I chuckle as I stand, unclenching my left hand from the dirty red Helldiver's sweatband. My voice echoes. We're both naked. I fake a limp with my right leg. I know what this is. Darrow? Is that you? Julian asks. Are you well? I'm prime. They busted up my right leg, though. I lie. He stands too, pushing himself up with his left hand. That's his dominant one. He looks tall and feeble in the light, like bent hay. I caught more kicks and punches than him, though. Loads more. My ribs might be cracked. What do you think this is? He asks. The passage, obviously. But they lied. They said it would be tomorrow. The thick wooden door squeals on rusted hinges, and Proctor Fitchner saunters in, popping a bubblegum. Proctor? Sir, you lied to us! Julian protests. He pushes his pretty hair back out of his eyes. Fitchner's movement is sluggish, but his eyes are like a cat's. Lying takes too much effort. He grunts idly. Well, how dare you treat us like this? Julian snaps. You must know who my father is, and my mother is a legate. I can have you up on charges for assault in a moment's notice. And you hurt Darrow's leg. It's 1 a.m., dipshit. It's tomorrow. Fitchner pops another bubblegum. There are also 2 of you. Alas, only 1 spot is available in your class. He tosses a golden ring, emblazoned with the Wolf of Mars and a star shield of the Institute, onto the dirty stone ground. I could make it ambiguous, but you look like rusty-headed lads. Only one comes out alive. He leaves the way he came. The door squeals, and then slams shut. Julian flinches at the sound. I do not. We both stare at the ring, and I have a sick feeling in my gut that I'm the only one in the room who knows what just happened. What do they think they're doing? Julian asks me. Do they expect us to kill each other? I finish. Yes, that's what they expect. Despite the knot in my throat, I ball my fists, Eo's wedding band tight on my finger. I intend to wear that ring, Julian. Will you let me have it? I am bigger than he, not quite as tall, but that doesn't matter. He doesn't stand a chance. I have to have it, Darrow, he murmurs. He looks up. I am of the family Bologna. I can't go home without it. Do you know who we are? You can go home without shame. I can't. I need it more than you. We're not going home, Julian. One person comes out alive. You heard him. They wouldn't do that. He tries. No. Please. Please, Darrow. Just go home. You don't need it like I do. You don't. Cassius, he would be so ashamed if I didn't make it. I wouldn't be able to look at him. Every member of my family is scarred. My father is an imperator. An imperator! If his son did not even make it through the passage, what would his soldiers think? He would still love you. Mine would. Julian shakes his head. He takes a breath and stands tall. I am Julian Bologna, of the family Bologna, my goodman. I don't want to do this. I can't explain how badly I don't want to hurt Julian. But when has what I wanted ever mattered? My people need this. Io sacrificed happiness and her life. I can sacrifice my wants. I can sacrifice this slender princeling. I can even sacrifice my soul. I make the first move toward Julian. Darrow, he murmurs. Darrow was kind in Lycos. I am not. I hate myself for it. I think I'm crying because my vision is unclear. The rules and manners and morals of society are pulled away. All it takes is a stone room and two people needing the same scarce thing. Yet the shift isn't instantaneous. Even when I punch Julian in the face and his blood smears my knuckles, it doesn't seem a fight. The room is quiet, awkward. I feel rude punching him, like I'm acting. The stone is cold on my feet. My skin prickles. Breath echoes. They want me to kill him because he didn't do well on their tests. This is a mismatch. I am Darwin's scythe. Nature scraping away the chaff. I don't know how to kill. I've never killed a man. I have no blade, no thumper, no scorcher. It seems impossible that I could make this boy of meat and muscle bleed dry just with my hands. I want to laugh, and Julian does. I am a naked child, slapping at another naked child in a cold room. His hesitancy is obvious. His feet move like he's trying to remember a dance. But when his elbows come to eye level, I panic. I don't know how he is fighting. He strikes half-heartedly at me in a foreign, artistic way. He's tentative, slow, but his timid fist gets my nose. Rage overtakes me. My face goes numb. My heart thunders. It's in my throat. My veins prickle. I break his nose with a straight. God, my hands are strong. He wails and ducks into me, grappling my arm into an odd angle. It pops. I use my forehead. It takes him just at the bridge of his nose. I grab the back of his neck and hit him again with my forehead. He can't break away. I do it again. Something cracks. Blood and spit lather my hair. His teeth cut my scalp. I drop back like I'm dancing, reverse off my left foot, weave forward and hit him with all my weight behind my right fist in his chest. My Helldiver knuckles shatter his reinforced sternum. There's a great, wheezing gasp and a crackling noise like snapping twigs. He tips backward onto the ground. I'm dazed from striking him with my forehead. Seeing red, seeing double, I stumble toward him. Tears stream down my cheeks. He's twitching. When I grab his golden hair, I find him already limp, like a wet, golden feather. Blood pulses from his nose. He is quiet. He no longer moves, no longer smiles. I mutter my wife's name as I fall to cradle his head. His face has become like a blood blossom. Part 3. Gold. This is your sling blade, son. It'll scrape the earth's veins for you. It'll kill pit vipers. Keep it sharp. And if you get stuck in the drills, it'll save your life for the price of a limb.
Blood and thunder.
So said my uncle. Chapter 20. The House of Mars. There's a stillness in my soul as I look at the broken boy. Even Cassius would not recognize Julian now. A cavity is carved into my heart. My hands tremble as the blood dribbles off them onto the cold stone. Rivers along the golden sigils upon my hands. I am a Helldiver, but the sobs come even as the tears are gone. His blood trickles from my knee down my hairless shin. It's red, not golden. My knees feel the stone and my forehead touches it as I sob till exhaustion fills my chest. When I look up, he is still dead. This wasn't right. I thought the society only played games with its slaves. Wrong. Julian didn't score like I did on the tests. He wasn't as physically capable as I, so he was a sacrificial lamb. 100 students per house, and the bottom 50 are only here to be killed by the top 50. This is just a bloody damn test. For me. Even the family Bologna, powerful as they are, could not protect their less capable son. And that is the point. I hate myself. I know they made me do this, yet it still feels like a choice. Like when I pulled Io's legs and felt the snap of her small spine. My choice. But what other choice was there with her? With Julian? They do this to make us wear the guilt. There's nowhere to wipe the blood. Only stone and 2 naked bodies. This is not who I am. Who I want to be. I want to be a father. A husband. A dancer. Let me dig in the earth. Let me sing the songs of my people and leap and spin and run along the walls. I would never sing the forbidden song. I would work. I would bow. Let me wash dirt from my hands instead of blood.
Hey, how you doing?
I want only to live with my
for real.
family. We were happy enough. Freedom costs too much. But Io disagreed. Damn her. I wait, but no one comes to see the mess I've made. The door is unlocked. I slip the golden ring over my finger after I close Julian's eyes, and I walk naked into the cold hall. It is empty. A soft light guides me up never-ending stairs. Water drips from the subterranean tunnel's ceiling. I use it to try to clean my body, but all I do is lather the blood into my skin, thinning it. I cannot escape it. What I've done, no matter how far I follow the tunnel. I am alone with my sin. This is why they rule. The peerless scarred know that dark deeds are carried through life. They cannot be outrun. They must be worn if one is to rule. This is their first lesson. Or was it that the weak do not deserve life? I hate them. But I hear them. Win. Bear the guilt. Reign. They want me pitiless. They want my memory short. But I was raised differently. All my people sing of are memories, and so I will remember this death. It will burden me as it does not burden my fellow students. I must not let that change. I must not become like them. I'll remember that every sin, every death, every sacrifice is for freedom. Yet now I'm afraid. Can I bear the next lesson? Can I pretend to be as cold as Augustus? I now know why he did not flinch in hanging my wife. And I'm beginning to understand why golds rule. They can do what I cannot. Though I am alone, I know I will soon find others. They want me to soak in the guilt for now. They want me lonely, mournful, so that when I meet the others, the winners, I will be relieved. The murders will bind us, and I'll find the company of the winners a salve to my guilt. I do not love my fellow students, but I will think I do. I will want their comfort, their reassurances that I am not evil. And they will want the same. This is meant to make us a family, one with cruel secrets. I am right. My tunnel leads me to the others. I see Roke, the poet, first. He bleeds from the back of his head. Blood is slick on his right elbow. I didn't think him capable of killing. Whose blood? His eyes are red from crying. We find Antonia next. Like us, she is naked. She moves like a golden ship, drifting along, quiet and aloof. Her feet leave bloody footprints where she walks. I dread finding Cassius. I hope he is dead, because I'm afraid of him. He reminds me of Dancer, handsome, laughing, yet a dragon just beneath the surface. But that's not why I'm afraid. I'm afraid because he has a reason to hate me, to want to kill me. No one in my life has had just cause before. No one has ever hated me. He will, if he finds out. Then I realize it. How could the house ever be knit tightly with such secrets? It can't. Cassius will know someone here killed his brother. Others will have lost friends, and so the house will devour itself. The society did this on purpose. They want chaos. It will be our second test. Tribal strife. The three of us find the other survivors in a cavernous stone dining hall, dominated by a long wooden table. Torches light the room. Night's mist slithers through open windows. It is like something from the old tales, the times they call medieval. Toward the far end of the long room is a plinth. A giant stone towers there. Embedded in its centre is a golden Primus hand. Golden and black tapestries flank the stone. A wolf howls upon the tapestries, as though calling out a warning. It is the Primus hand that will tear this house apart. Each one of these little princes and princesses will think themselves deserved of the honour of leading the house. Yet, only one can. I move like a ghost with the other students, drifting around the stone halls of what seems to be a giant castle. There is a room in which we are to clean ourselves. A trough runs icy water along the cold floor. Now blood runs with the water to the right and disappears into the stone. I feel like some sort of spectre in a land of fog and rock. Black and gold fatigues are laid out for us in a relatively barren armoury. Each student finds the fatigue bundle tagged with his or her name. A golden symbol of a howling wolf marks the high collars and sleeves of our clothing. I take my clothing with me and dress alone in some storage room. There, I fall into the corner and sit, silent. This place is so cold and quiet, so far from home. Roke finds me. He's striking in his uniform, lean like a strand of golden summer wheat, with high cheekbones and warm eyes, but his face is pale. He sits on his haunches across from me for several minutes before he reaches over to clasp my hands. I draw back, but he holds on till I look at him. "If you are thrown into the deep and do not swim, you will drown," he says, and raises his thin eyebrows. "So, keep swimming, right?" I force a chuckle. A poet's logic. He shrugs. Doesn't count for much. So I'll give you facts, brother man. This is the system. The lower colours have their children by use of catalysts, fast births, sometimes only 5 months of gestation before labour is induced. Except for the obsidians, only we wait 9 months to be born. Our mothers receive no catalysts, no sedatives, no nucleics. Have you asked yourself why? So the product can be pure. And so that nature is given a chance to kill us. The Board of Quality Control is firmly convinced that 13.6213% of all gold children should die before 1 year of age. Sometimes they make reality fit this number. He splays out his thin hands. Why? Because they believe civilization weakens natural selection. They do nature's work so that we do not become a soft race. The passage, it seems, is a continuation of that policy. Only we were the tools they used. My victim was, bless his soul, a fool. He was from a family of no worth, and he had no wits, no intelligence, no ambition. He frowns at the words before sighing. He had nothing the board values. There is a reason he was to die. Was there a reason Julian was to die? Roke knows what he does because his mother is on the board. He loathes his mother, and only then do I realize I should like him. Not only that, I take refuge in his words. He disagrees with the rules, but he follows them. It is possible. I can do the same until I have power enough to change them. We should join the others, I say, standing. In the dining hall, our names float above the chairs in golden letters. Our test scores are gone. Our names have also appeared beneath the Primus hand in the black stone. They float, golden, upward toward the golden hand. I'm closest, though there's still much distance to cover. Some of the students cry together in small groups by the long wooden table. Others sit against the wall, heads in hands. A limping girl looks for her friend. Antonia glares over at the table where small Severo sits eating. Of course, he's the only one with an appetite. Frankly, I'm surprised he survived. He is tiny and was our 99th and last draft pick. By Roke's proposed rules, he should be dead. Titus, the giant, is alive and bruised. Those knuckles of his look like a dirty butcher's block. He stands arrogantly apart from the rest, grinning like this is all splendid fun. Roke speaks quietly with the limping girl, Leah. She falls down crying and throws her ring. She looks like a deer, eyes wide and glistening. He sits with her and holds her hand. There's a peacefulness to him that is unique in the room. Wonder how peaceful he seemed when strangling some other kid to death. I roll my ring on and off my finger. Someone smacks my head lightly from behind. Oi, brother man. Cassius. I nod. Cheers to your victory. I was worried you were all brains. Cassius laughs. His golden curls are not even tousled. He throws an arm around me and surveys the room with a wrinkled nose. He feigns this nonchalance. I can tell he's worried. Ah, is there anything more ugly than self-pity? All this crying? He smirks and points at a girl with a busted nose. And she just became aggressively unpleasant. Not that she was ever much to sniff at, eh? Eh? I forget to speak. Shell-shocked, man. They get your windpipe? Just not much for joking about right now, I say. Took some knocks to the head. Shoulder is a bit slagged, too. This isn't my usual scene. Shoulder can be fixed straight off. Let's get it back in the socket. He casually grips my dislocated shoulder and jerks it into its socket before I can protest. I gasp in pain. He chuckles. Prime. Prime. He slaps me on the same shoulder. Help me out, won't you? He extends his left hand. His dislocated fingers look like lightning bolts. I pull them straight. He laughs with the pain, not knowing his brother's blood is under my fingernails. I'm trying not to hyperventilate. Spotted Julian yet, man? He finally asks. He speaks in mid-lingo, now that Priam is nowhere to be seen. Not a sight. Meh. The kid is probably trying to be gentle with his fight. Father taught us the silent art, cravat. Julian is a prodigy at it. He thinks I'm better. Cassius frowns. Thinks I'm better at everything, which is understandable. Just got to get him going. Speaking of it, who'd you slag? My inside's knot. I make up a lie, and it's a good one. Vague and boring. He only wants to talk about himself now anyway. After all, this is what Cassius was bred for. There are roughly 15 kids who have that same quiet gleam in their eye. Not evil, just excited. And those are the ones to watch, because they're the born killers. Looking around, it's easy to see that Roke was right. There weren't many tough fights. This was forced natural selection. Bottom of the heap getting slaughtered by the top. Hardly anyone is severely injured except a couple of small low drafts. Natural selection sometimes has its surprises. Cassius's fight was easy, he says. He did it right and fair and quick. Crushed the windpipe with a blade jab 10 seconds into squaring up. Caught his fingers oddly, though. Prime. I've made a corpse of the best killer's brother. Dread creeps into me to make a home. Cassius grows quieter when Fitchner saunters in and orders us to the table. One by one, the 50 seats fill, and bit by bit, his face darkens as each chance for Julian to join the table disappears. When the last seat fills, he does not move. It is a cold anger that radiates, not hot as I thought it would be. Antonia sits across from us, opposite me, and watches him. Her mouth works, but she says nothing. You don't comfort his sort. And I didn't think her the kind to try. Julian isn't the only one missing. Arya, all curls and dimples, is lying limp on a cold floor somewhere. And Priam is gone. Perfect Priam the Premier, heir of Mars's moons. I heard he was the first sword in the solar system for his birth year. A duelist without peer. I guess he wasn't too lethal with his fist. I look around the tired faces. Who the hell killed him? The board messed that one up, and I wager his mother will cause hell, because he certainly wasn't meant to die. We're wasting the best of us, Cassius murmurs measuredly. Hello, you little shit-eaters. Fitchner yawns and kicks his feet up onto the table. Now, it might have dawned on you that the passage may as well be called the culling. Fitchner scratches his groin with his razor's hilt. His manners are worse than mine. And you may think it a waste of good gold, but you're an idiot if you think 50 children make a dent in our numbers. There are more than 1 million golds on Mars, more than 100 million in the solar system. Not all get to be peerless scarred, though, eh? Now, if you think this was vile, consider that the Spartans would kill more than 10% of all children born to them. Nature would kill another 30. We are gory humanitarians in comparison. Of the 600 students that are left, most were in the top 1% of applicants. Of the 600 that are dead, most were in the bottom 1% of applicants. There was no waste. He chuckles and looks around the table with a surprising amount of pride. Except for that idiot, Priam. Yeah, there's a lesson for you lot. He was a brilliant boy. Beautiful, strong, fast, a genius who studied day and night with a dozen tutors. But he was pampered. And someone, I won't say who, because that'd undermine the fun of this whole curriculum, but someone knocked him down onto the stone and then stomped on his trachea till he died. He put his hands behind his head. Now, this is your new family. House Mars, one of 12 houses. No, you are not special because you live on Mars and are in House Mars. Those in House Venus on Venus are not special. They merely fit the house. You get the flow. After the Institute, you're looking for apprenticeships, hopefully with the families Bellona, Augustus, or Arcos, if you want to do me proud. Prior graduates from House Mars may help you find these apprenticeships, may offer you apprenticeships of their own, or maybe you'll be so successful that you don't need anyone's help. But let us make it crystal. Right now, you are babies. Stupid little babies. Your parents handed you everything. Others wiped your little asses. Cooked your food, fought your wars, tucked your little shiny noses in at night. Rusters dig before they get a chance to screw. They build your cities and find your fuel and pick up your shit. Pinks learn the art of getting someone's jollies off before they even need to shave. Obsidians have the worst gory life you could imagine. Nothing but frost and steel and pain. They were bred for their work, trained early for it. All you little princelings and princesses have had to do was look like little versions of Mommy and Daddy and learn your manners and play piano and equestrian and sport. But now, you belong to the Institute, to House Mars, to the Prefecture of Mars, to your colour, to the Society, blah, blah. Kitchener's smirk is lazy. His veiny hand rests on his paunch. Tonight, you finally did something yourselves. You beat a baby just like you. But that's worth about as much as a pink horse fart. Our little society balances on the tip of a needle. The other colours would rip your gory damn hearts out given the chance. And then there's the silvers, the coppers, the blues. You think they'd be loyal to a bunch of babies? You think the Obsidians will follow little turds like you? Those baby stranglers would make you their little cuddle slaves if they saw weakness. So, you must show none. So, what? The Institute is supposed to make us tough? Huge Titus grunts. No, you colossal oaf. It's supposed to make you smart, cruel, wise, hard. It's supposed to age you 50 years and 10 months and show you what your ancestors did to give you this empire. May I continue? He blows a gum bubble. Now, House Mars. His thin hand scratches his belly. Yeah, we've got a proud house that could maybe even match some of the elder families. We've got politicos, praetors, and
As the notes fade gently, let your mind feel lighter, ready to re-enter the world of the story.
A baby just like you. Was a gum bubble. Mercury and Europa.
Ready to re-enter the world of the story.
That happens. Talent. They picked you from the other candidates to fill the roster. Impress these important men and women, and you'll have an apprenticeship after this. Win, and you'll have your pick of apprenticeships within the house or an elder family. Maybe even Arcos himself will want you. If that happens, you'll be on the fast track to position, fame, and power. I lean forward. But win? I ask. What is there to win? He smiles. At this moment, you are in a remote terraformed valley in the southernmost part of Valles Marineris. In this valley, there are 12 houses in 12 castles. After orientation tomorrow, you will go to war with your fellow students to dominate the valley by any means at your disposal. Consider it a case study in gaining and ruling an empire. There are murmurs of excitement. It is a game. And here I thought I would have to study something in a classroom. And what if you are Primus of the winning house? Antonia asks. She twirls a finger through her golden curls. Then welcome to glory, darling. Welcome to fame and power. So, I must be Primus. We eat a plain dinner. When Fitchner leaves, Cassius stirs, his voice becoming cold and filled with dark humour. Let us all play a game, my friends. We will each say whom we killed. I will start. Nexus aus Salintus. I knew him when we were children, as I know some of you. I broke his trachea with my fingers. No one speaks. Come now. Family should not keep secrets. Still, no one answers. Severo is the first to leave, making his derision for Cassius's game clear. First to eat, first to sleep. I want to follow. Instead, I make small talk with Peaceful Roke and Massive Titus after Cassius gives up on his game and retires as well. Titus is impossible to like. He's not funny, but everything is a joke to him. It's like he's sneering at me, at everyone, even though he is smiling. I want to hit him, but he doesn't give me a reason. Everything he says is perfectly innocuous. Yet I hate him. It's like he doesn't think me a human. Instead, I'm just a chess piece, and he's waiting to move me around. No, shove me around. He somehow forgot to be 17 or 18 like the rest. He is a man. Taller than 2 meters, easy. Maybe nearing 2.5 meters. Lithe Roke, on the other hand, reminds me so much of my brother Kieran. If Kieran could kill. His smiles are kind, his words patient and wistful and wise, just as they had been earlier. Leah, the girl who looks like a limping baby deer, follows him everywhere. He's patient with her, in a way I couldn't be. Late in the night, I look for the places where the students died. I cannot find them. The stairs no longer exist. The castle has swallowed them. I find rest in a long dormitory filled with thin mattresses. Wolves howl from the shifting mists that cloak the highlands beyond our castle. I find sleep quickly. Chapter 21. Our Dominion. Fitz now wakes us from the long dormitories in the dark of morning. Grumbling, we roll out of double bunk beds and set out from the keep to the castle square, where we stretch, then set off at a run. We lope easily in the .37 grav. Clouds drop soft showers. The canyon walls, 50 kilometers west and 40 kilometers east of our little valley, tower 6 kilometers high. Between them is an ecosystem of mountains, forests, rivers and plains. Our battlefield. Ours is a highland territory. There rise mossy hills and craggy peaks that dip into U-shaped grassy glens. Mist blankets all, even the thick forests that lie like homespun quilts over the foothills. Our castle stands on a hill just north of a river in the middle of a bowl-like glen, half grass, half woods. Greater hills cup the glen in a semicircle to the north and south. I should like it here. Io would have. But without her I feel as lonely as our castle looks on its high, removed hill. I reach for the locket, for our Himanthus. Neither is with me. I feel empty in this paradise. 3 walls of our hill castle stand atop 80-meter stone cliffs. The castle itself is huge. Its walls rise 30 meters. The gatehouse swells out from the walls as a fortress with turrets. Inside the walls, our square keep is part of the northwestern wall and rises 50 meters. A gentle slope leads up from the glen's floor to the castle's western gate, opposite the keep. We run down this slope along a lonely dirt road. Mist embraces us. I relish the cold air. It purifies me after hours of fitful sleep. The mist burns away as the summer day dawns. Deerling, thinner and faster than the creatures of earth, graze in the fir woods. Birds circle above. A single raven promises eerie things. Sheep litter the field, and goats wander the high rocky hills we run up in a line of 50 and 1. Others of my house may see animals of earth, or curious creatures the carvers decided to make for fun, but I see only food and clothing. The sacred animals of Mars make their home in our territory. Woodpeckers hammer oak and fir. At night, wolves howl across the highlands and stalk during the day through the woodlands. There are snakes near the river, vultures in the quiet gulches, killers running beside me. What friends I have. If only Lauren or Kieran or Matteo were here to watch my back. Someone I could trust. I'm a sheep wearing wolves' clothing in a pack of wolves. As Fitchner runs us up the rocky heights, Leah, the girl with the limp, falls. He lazily nudges at her with his foot till we carry her on our shoulders. Roke and I bear the load. Titus smirks, and only Cassius helps when Roke tires. Then Pollux, a lean, craggy-voiced boy with buzzed hair, takes over for me. He sounds like he's been smoking burners since he was 2. We trudge through a summer valley of forests and fields. Bugs nip at us there. The Goldbrows drip with sweat, but I do not. This is an icy bath compared to the rigours of my old fry suit. All about me are trim and fit. But Cassius, Severo, Antonia, Quinn, the bloody damn fastest girl or thing I've ever seen on 2 feet, Titus, 3 of his new friends, and I could leave the rest behind. Only Fitchner with his grav boots could outpace us. He bounds along like a deerling. Then he chases one down and his razor whips out. It encircles the deerling's throat and he contracts the blade to kill the animal. "Supper," he says, grinning. "Drag it." "You could have killed it closer to the castle," Severo mutters. Fitchner scratches his head and looks around. "Did anyone else hear a squat, ugly little goblin go, well, whatever sound goblins make?" "Drag it." Severo grabs the deer's leg. Dickwit. We reach the summit of a rocky height, 5 kilometers southwest of our castle. A stone tower dominates the peak. From the top, we survey the battlefield. Somewhere out there, our enemies do the same. The theatre of war stretches to the south farther than we can see. A snowy mountain range fills the western horizon. To the southeast, a primordial wood knots the landscape. Dividing the two is a lush plain split by a massive southbound river, the Argos, and its tributaries. Farther south, past the plains and rivers, the ground dips away into marshes. I cannot see beyond. A great, floating mountain hovers 2 kilometers up in the bluish sky. It is Olympus, Fitchner explains, an artificial mountain where the proctors watch each year's class. Its peak shimmers with a fairy tale castle. Leah shuffles closer to stand beside me. "How does it float?" she asks sweetly. I haven't the faintest clue. I look north. 2 rivers in a forested valley split our northern territory, which is at the edge of a vast wilderness. They form a V pointing southwest to the lowlands, where they eventually form one tributary to the Argos. Surrounding the valley are the highlands, dramatic hills and dwarf mountains scarred with gulches where mist still clings. "This is Phobos Tower," Fitchner says. The tower lies in the far southwest of our territory. He drinks from a canteen while we go thirsty, and points northwest where the two rivers meet in the valley to form their V. A massive tower crowns a distant dwarf mountain range just beyond the junction. And that is Deimos. He traces an imaginary line to show us the bounds of House Mars's territory. The eastern river is called the Furor. The western, which runs just south of our castle, is the Metos. A single bridge spans the Metos. An enemy would have to cross it to enter between the V into the valley and strike northeast across easy wooded ground to reach our castle. This is a slagging joke, isn't it? Severo asks Fitchner. Whatever do you mean, goblin? Fitchner pops a gum bubble. Our legs are as wide as a pink horse. All these mountains and hills, and anyone can just walk right in the front door. It's a perfect flat passage from the lowlands right to our gate. Just one stinking river to cross. Pointing out the obvious, eh? You know, I really do not like you, you foul little goblin. Fitchner stares at Severo for a purposeful moment, and then shrugs. Anyway, I'll be on Olympus. What does that mean, Proctor? Cassius asks sourly. He doesn't like the look of things either. Though his eyes are red from weeping through the night for his dead brother, it hasn't dulled his impressiveness. I mean, it's your problem, little prince, not mine. No one's going to fix anything for you. I am your proctor, not your mommy. You're in school, remember? So if your legs are open, well, make a chastity belt to protect the soft spot. There's general grumbling. Could be worse, I say. I point past Antonia's head toward the southern plains where an enemy fortress spans a great river. We could be exposed like those poor bastards. Those poor bastards have crops and orchards. Fitchner muses. You have. He looks over the ledge to find the deer he killed. Well, Goblin here left the deer behind, so you have nothing. The wolves will eat what you do not. Unless we eat the wolves, Severo mutters, drawing strange looks from the rest of our house. So, we have to get our own food. Antonia points to the lowlands. What are they doing? A black dropship slides down from the clouds. It settles in the center of the grassy plain between us and the distant enemy river fortress of Ceres. 3 obsidians and a dozen tin pots stand guard as Browns hustle out to set hams, steaks, biscuits, wine, milk, honey, and cheeses onto a disposable table 8 kilometers from Phobos Tower. A trap, obviously. Severo snorts. Thank you, Goblin, Cassius sighs, but I haven't had breakfast. Circles ring his reckless eyes. He glances over at me through the crowd of our fellows and offers a smile. Up for a race, Darrow? I start with surprise. Then I smile. On your mark. And he's off. I've done dumber things to feed my family. I did dumber things when someone I loved died. Cassius is owed the company as he races down the steep hillside. 48 kids watch us scamper to fill our bellies. None follow. Bring me a slice of honeyed ham, Fitchner shouts. Antonia calls us idiots. The dropship floats away as we leave the highlands behind for gentler terrain. 8 kilometers in .376 grav, Earth standard, is a cinch. We scramble down rocky hillsides, then hit the lowland plains at full tilt through ankle-high grass. Cassius beats me to the tables by a body length. He's fast. We each take a pint of the ice water on the table. I drink mine faster. He laughs. Looks like the House Ceres mark on their flagpole. The harvest goddess. Cassius points over across the green plains to the fortress. A few trees dot the several kilometers between us and the castle. Pennons flap from their ramparts. He pops a grape into his mouth. We should take a closer look before chowing down. A little scouting. Agreed. But something isn't right here, I say quietly. Cassius laughs at the open plain. Nonsense. We'd see trouble if it was coming, and I don't think any one of them is going to be faster than us two. We can strut up to their gates and take a shit if we so like. I do have something brewing. I touch my stomach. Yet still, something is wrong. And not just in my belly. It's 6 kilometers of open ground between the river fortress and us. The river gurgles in the distance to the right. Forest to the far left. Plains in front. Mountains beyond the river. Wind rustles the long grass, and a sparrow coasts in with the breeze. It swoops low to the ground before flinching up and away. I laugh loudly and lean against the table. They are in the grass, I whisper. A trap. We can steal sacks from them and carry more of this back, he says loudly. Run? Pixie. He grins, though neither of us is sure if we're allowed to start the fighting during orientation day. Whatever. On 3, we kick apart the disposable table's legs till we each have a meter of duroplastic as a weapon. I scream like a madman and sprint toward the spot where the sparrow fled, Cassius at my side. 5 House Ceres goals rise from the grass. They're startled by our mad rush. Cassius catches the first in the face with a proper fencer's lunge. I'm less graceful. My shoulder is stiff and sore. I scream and break my weapon across one of their knees. He goes down howling. Duck someone's swing, Cassius deflects it. We dance as 2. There's 3 of them left. One squares up with me. He doesn't have a knife or a bat. No, he has something I'm far more interested in. A question mark of a sword. A sling blade for reaping grain. He faces me with his back hand on his hip and the crooked blade out like a razor. If it were a razor, I'd be dead. But it's not. I make him miss, block one of Cassius's attacker's blows, lurch forward at my attacker. I'm much quicker than he, and my grip is like Durosteel to his. So I take his sling blade and his knife before I punch him down. When he sees how I twirled the sling blade in my hand, the last uninjured boy knows it's time to surrender. Cassius jumps high in the .376 grav and executes an unnecessary twirling sideways kick to the boy's face. Reminds me of the dancers and leapers of Lycos. Cravat, the silent dance. Eerily similar to the boast dancing of young Reds. Nothing is silent about the boys' curses. I feel no pity for these students. They all murdered someone the night before, just like me. There are no innocents in this game. The only thing that worries me is seeing how Cassius dispatched his victims. He is grace and finesse. I am rage and momentum. He could kill me in a second if he knew my secret. What a lark, he croons. You were gory terrifying. You just took his weapon. Gory fast. Glad we weren't paired earlier. Prime stuff. What are you to say for yourselves, you sneaking fools? The captured gulls just swear at us. I stand over them and cock my head. Is this the first time you've lost at something? No answer. I frown. Well, that must be embarrassing. Cassius's face shines. For a moment he's forgotten his brother's death. I haven't. I feel darkness. Hollow. Evil when the adrenaline fades. Is this what Io wanted? For me to play games? Fitchner arrives in the air above us, clapping his hands. His grav boots glimmer golden. He's got his ham slice between his teeth. Reinforcements come, he laughs. Titus and a half-dozen of the faster boys and girls run toward us from the highlands. Opposite, a golden shape rises from the distant river fortress and flies toward us. A beautiful woman with short cropped hair settles next to Fitchner in the air. The proctor of the house Ceres. She carries a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Mars, a picnic? She calls, referring to him by his house's deity. So, who arranged for this drama, Ceres? Fitchner asks. Oh, Apollo, I suppose. He's lonely up in his mountain estates. Here, this is Zinfandel from his vines. Much better than last year's varietal. Delicious, Fitchner proclaims. But your boys were squatting in the grass, almost as if they expected the picnic to spontaneously manifest. Suspicious? No. Details. Proctor Ceres laughs. Pedantic details. Well, here's a detail. It seems 2 of mine are worth 5 of yours this year, my dear. These pretty boys. Ceres snickers. I thought the vain ones went to Apollo and Venus. Oh-ho! Well, yours certainly fight like housewives and farmers. Well placed they were. Don't judge them yet, you cad. They are mid-draft picks. My high drafts are elsewhere, earning their first calluses. Learning the ovens? Huzzah! Fitchner declares, ironically. Bakers do make the best rulers, so I've heard. She nudges him. Oh, you devil. No wonder you interviewed for the Rage Night post, such a scoundrel. They clink their glasses together as we watch from the ground. How I love Orientation Day. Ceres titters. Mercury just let 100,000 rats loose in Jupiter's citadel. But Jupiter was ready because Diana tattled and arranged the delivery of 1,000 cats. Jupiter's boys won't go hungry like last year. Cats will be as fat as Bacchus. Diana's a harlot, Fitchner declares. Be kind. I was. I sent her a great phallic cake filled with live woodpeckers. You didn't. I did. You beast. Ceres caresses his arm, and I note the free, loving demeanor these people have. I wonder if other proctors are lovers as well. Her fortress will be riddled with holes. Oh, the sound must be horrible. Well played, Mars. They say Mercury is the trickster, but your japes always have a certain flair. Flair, eh? Well, I'm sure I could rustle up some tricks for you on Olympus. Huzzah! She coos suggestively. They toast again, floating above their sweating and bloody students. I can't help but laugh. These people are mad. Bloody damn crazy in their empty golden heads. How are they my rulers? Oi, Fitch, if you don't mind, what are we supposed to do with these farmers? Cassius calls up. He pokes one of our injured captives on the nose. What are the rules? Eat them, Fitchner cries. And Dara, put down that gory side. You look like a grain reaper. I don't drop it. It is close to the shape of my sling blade from home. Not as sharp, because it isn't meant to kill, but the balance is no different. You know, you could let my children go and give them back the reaping scythe. Ceres suggests to us. Give me a kiss and you have a deal. Cassius calls up. The Imperator's boy? She asks Fitchner. He nods. Come ask for one when you're scarred, little prince. She looks over her shoulder. Until then, I would advise you and the Reaper to run. We hear the hooves before we see the painted horses galloping at us across the plain. They come from the opened gates of House Ceres' castle. The girls on the horses' backs carry nets. They gave you horses? Horses? Fitchner complains. That is so unfair. We run, and barely make it to the woods. I didn't like my first encounter with horses. They still scared the piss out of me, all snorting and stomping. Cassius and I gasp for breath. My shoulder aches. 2 of Titus's reinforcements are captured as they find themselves stranded in open ground. Bold Titus knocks a horse over and is laughing as he's about to lay waste to one of the girls with his boot. Ceres zaps him with a stun fist and makes peace with Fitchner. The stun fist causes Titus to piss himself. Only Severo is careless enough to laugh. Cassius says something about bad manners, but he snickers quietly. Titus notices. Are we allowed to kill them or not? Titus growls that night at dinner. We eat the leftovers from Bacchus's feast. Or am I going to get stunned every time? Well, the point isn't to kill them, Fitchner says. So no. Let's not go around massacring your classmates, you mad ape. But we did before, Titus protests. What is wrong with you? Fitchner asks. The passage was where the culling is done. It's no longer survival of the fittest, you mad, stupid, colossal sack of muscle. What would be the point if we now had the fittest just murder each other till only a few are left? There are new tests to pass now. Ruthlessness. Antonia crosses her arms. So now it's not acceptable? Is that what you're saying? Oh, it better be acceptable. Titus grins broadly. He's been boasting all night about knocking over the horse, as if it'd make everyone forget the piss that stained his pants. Some have. He's already gathered a pack of hounds. Only Cassius and I seem to have an ounce of his respect, but even we're smirked at. So is Fitchner. Fitchner sets down his honeyed ham. Let us clarify, children, so this water buffalo doesn't go around stomping on skulls. Ruthlessness is acceptable, dear Antonia. If someone dies by accident, that is understandable. Accidents happen to the best of us. But you will not murder each other with scorchers. You will not hang people from your ramparts unless they're already dead. Medbots are on standby in case any medical attention is direly needed. They are fast enough to save lives, most of the time. Remember, though, the point is not to kill. We don't care if you're as ruthless as Vlad Dracula. He's still lost. The point is to win. That's what we want.
With honor.
And that simple test of cruelty is already passed. We want you to show us your brilliance. Like Alexander, like Caesar, Napoleon, and Merrywater. We want you to manage an army, distribute justice, arrange for provisions of food and armor. Any fool can stick a blade into another's belly. The school's role is to find the leaders of men, not the killers of men. So the point, you silly little children, is not to kill, but to conquer. And how do you conquer in a game where there are 11 enemy tribes? Take them out one at a time. Titus answers knowingly. No, ogre. Dumbass. Severo snickers to himself. Titus's pack quietly watches the smallest boy in the Institute. No threats are snarled. No faces twitch. Just a silent promise. It's hard to remember that they are all geniuses. They look too pretty, too athletic, too cruel to be geniuses. Anyone besides Ogre have a guess? Fitchner asks. No one answers. You make one tribe out of 12. I finally say. By taking slaves. Just like the society. Build on the backs of others. It isn't cruel. It is practical. Fitzner claps mockingly. Prime, Reaper. Prime. Looks like someone is bucking for Primus. Everyone shifts in agitation at that last bit. Fitzner pulls a long box from under the table. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you use to make slaves. He pulls out our standard. Protect this. Protect your castle. And conquer all the others. Chapter 22. The Tribes. Fitzner is gone in the morning. In his chair lies the standard. It is a 1 foot length of iron tipped with our howling wolf. A serpent coils beneath the wolf's feet. The star-tipped pyramid of the society beneath that. A 5 foot oak pole connects to the iron end. If the castle is our home, the standard is our honor. With it, we are able to turn enemies into our slaves by pressing it to their foreheads. There, a wolf sigil will appear until another standard is pressed to the forehead. Slaves must obey our express commands, or forever be shamed. I sit across from the standard in the morning dark, eating Apollo's leftovers. A wolf calls out in the mist. Its howl comes through the keep's high window. Tall Antonia is the first to join me. She glides in like a lonely tower or a beautiful golden spider. I haven't decided which way her personality runs. We exchange glances, but no greetings. She wants Primus. Cassius and raspy Pollux saunter in next. Pollux grumbles about having to go to bed without Pinks to tuck him in. A positively hideous standard, don't you think? Antonia complains. They could at least have given it a splash of colour. I think it should be draped with red for rage and blood. It's not too heavy. Cassius hefts the standard by its pole. Reckoned it'd be gold. He admires the golden Primus hand within the block of black stone. He wants it too. And they gave us a map. Swell. A new stone map dominates one of the walls. The detail near our castle is remarkable. The rest, less so. The fog of war. Cassius claps me on the back and joins in eating. He doesn't know I heard him weep again in the night. We shared a new bunk in a barracks in the keep's high tower. Many others still sleep in the main tower. Titus and his friends have taken the low tower, even though they don't have enough bodies to fill it. Most of the house is woken by the time Severo drags in a dead wolf by its legs. It's already gutted and skinned. Goblin has brought victuals. Cassius applauds daintily. We will need firewood. Does anyone know how to make a fire? Severo does. Cassius grins. Of course you do, Goblin. Found the sheep too easy to kill? I ask. Where'd you get the weapon? Born with them. His fingernails are bloody. Antonia wrinkles her nose. Where in the hell were you raised? Severo presents his middle finger to her, the crux. Ah. Antonia sniffs. Hell, then. So, as I'm sure you've all noticed, it will be some time before anyone has enough bars of merit to become Primus. Cassius declares, when we've all gathered around the table. Naturally, I was thinking that we need a leader before Primus is chosen. He stands and scoots away from Severo so that his fingers rest on the edge of the standard. In order for us to function, we must have immediate and coordinated decisions. And which of you two fools do you think it should be? Antonia asks dryly. Her large eyes glance from him to me. She turns to regard the others, voice sweet like thick syrup. At this point, what makes any of us better suited to lead than anyone else? They got us dinner. And breakfast, Leah says meekly from beside Roke. She gestures to the leftover picnic victuals. While running right into a trap, Roke reminds everyone. Antonia nods sagely. Yes, yes. A wise point. Rashness can hurt us. But they did fight free, Roke finishes, earning a glare from Antonia. With table legs against real weapons. Titus rumbles his approval with a qualification. But then they fled and left the food behind. So it was Fitchner who gave us the food. They would have given it to the enemy, delivering food like Browns. Yeah, that's a twist on what happened, Cassius says. Titus shrugs. I only saw you running like a little pixie. Cassius goes cold. Watch your manners, Goodman. Titus holds up his hands. Merely observing. Why so angry, little prince? You watch your manners, Goodman, or we'll have to trade our words for blades. Cassius wields his looted pitchfork and points it at Titus. You heed, Titus Auladros. Titus holds gaze with him, then glances over at me, grouping me with Cassius. Suddenly, Cassius and I form a tribe in everyone's eyes. The paradigm shifts that quickly. Politics. I take my time twirling my looted knife between my fingers. The whole table watches the knife, Severo especially. My red right hand has collected 1 million metric tons of helium-3 with its dexterity. My left, 500,000. The dexterity of an average low-red would startle these golds. I dazzle them. The knife is like a hummingbird's wings in my nimble fingers. I look calm, but my mind is racing. We have all killed. Those were the stakes. What are they now? Titus has already made it clear that he wants to kill. I could stop him now, I wager, drive my knife into his neck, but the thought almost makes me drop my blade. I feel Eo's death in my hands. I hear the wet thump of Julian dying. I can't bear the blood, especially when it doesn't seem necessary. I can back this huge puppy down. I level my eyes coldly at Titus. His smile is slow, the disdain barely noticeable. He's calling me out. I have to fight him, or something, if he doesn't look away. That's what wolves do, I think. My knife spins and spins, and suddenly Titus is laughing. He looks away. My heart slows. I've won. I hate politics, especially in a room full of alphas. Of course I hear you, Cassius. You're standing 10 feet away. Titus chuckles. Titus doesn't think he's strong enough to challenge Cassius and me openly, even with his pack. He saw what we did to the Ceres boys. But just like that, the lines are drawn. I stand suddenly, confirming that I am with Cassius. It strips Titus of any momentum. Is there anyone who wouldn't want either of us to lead? I ask. I wouldn't want Antonia to lead. She's a bitch, Severo says. Antonia shrugs her agreement, but cocks her head. Cassie, why are you in such a rush to find us a leader? She asks. If we do not have one leader, then we will fracture and do as we each think is best, Cassius says. That's how we lose. Instead of what you think is best, she says, with a soft smile and a nod. I see. Don't give me that condescension, Antonia. Priam even agreed we needed one leader. Who is Priam? Titus laughs. He's trying to get attention back on himself once more. Every gold kid on the planet knew Priam. Now Titus tries to make it clear who killed him, and the others take note. Momentum regained. Except, I know Titus didn't kill Priam. They wouldn't put someone like him in with Priam. They would have put a weakling in there. So Titus is a liar, as well as a bully. Ah, I see. Because you plotted with Priam, you know what needs to be done, Cassius. You know better than all of us. Antonia waves at the table. You're telling us we're helpless without your guidance. She's trapped him. And me too. Listen, boys. I know you're eager to lead. She continues. I get that. We are all leaders by nature. Each person in this room is a born genius, a born captain. But that is why the Primus merit system exists. When someone has earned 5 fingers of merit and is ready to be Primus, then we will have a leader. Until then, I say we hold out. If Cassius or Darrow earns it, then so be it. I'll do whatever they command. Obedient as a pink, simple as a red. She gestures to the others. Until then, I think one of you should also have a chance to earn it. After all, it may decide your career. She's clever. And she's sunk us. Every brat in the room was no doubt wishing they'd been more assertive from the get-go, wishing they could have another chance to make people notice them. Now Antonia gives it to them. This'll be chaos. And she may end up as Primus. Definitely a spider. Look, Leah says from Roke's side. A horn bellows beyond the castle. The standard chooses that moment to shimmer. Snake and wolf shed iron for gleaming gold. Not only that, but the stone map on the wall comes alive. Our wolf banner ripples over a miniature of our castle. Ceres' banner does the same. No other castles mark the map, but the banners of the undiscovered houses flap off in the map's key. No doubt they'll find a home as soon as we scout the surrounding territory. The game has begun. And now everyone wants to be Primus. I see why democracy is illegal. First comes yelling, frustration, indecision, disagreement, ideas, scout, fortify, gather food, lay traps, blitz, raid, defense, offense. Pollux spits. Titus knocks him out cold. Antonia leaves. Severo says something snide to Titus and drags his wolf off to God knows where, never having lit a fire. It's like my Lambda drill team whenever a head talk would take an hour sick. That's how I learned I could drill. Barlow snuck off to take a smoke, and I hopped on the rig and did as I thought was best. I do the same now, as the children bicker. Cassius, Roke and Leah, who follows Roke everywhere, come with me, though Cassius likely thinks we follow him. We agree that the others will not know what to do, and so will inevitably do nothing today. They will guard the castle, or seek out wood for a fire, or cluster around the standard for fear of it walking off. I don't know what to do. I don't know if our enemies are slinking through the hills toward us. I don't know if they are making alliance against Mars. I don't know how the damn game is even played. But for some reason, I assume that not all of the other houses will fall to discord like this. We of Mars seem more prone to disagreement. I ask Cassius what he thinks we should do. Once, I challenged this prancing oaf to a duel for disrespecting my family, an Augustus fop. He was very methodical, tightened his gloves, tied back his pretty hair, swished his razor as he did before every gory practice bout he's ever had at the Aegea Martial Club. And I hooked him and stabbed him through the kneecap while he was still swishing his razor in preparation. He catches Leah's disapproval. What? The duel had begun. I'm foxy, but I'm not a beast. I just win. I feel like you all think that. I say, we all, I mean. They don't notice my slip-up. His point stands. Our house can't attack an enemy in our state, but an enemy could attack us as we run about preparing and ruin all my hopes of rising within the society. So, information. We need to know if our enemies are in a glen half a kilometre to the north, or if they are 15 kilometres south. Are we at a corner of the playing field, or in the centre? Are there enemies in the highlands, north of the highlands? Cassius and I agree. We must scout. We split up. Cassius and I head to Phobos, and then move counterclockwise. Leah and Rogue strike to Deimos and scout clockwise. We're to meet at dusk. We don't see a soul from the top of Phobos. The lowlands are empty of horses and Ceres' fighters, and the highland range to the south is full of lochs and goats. Southeast, atop a high dwarf mountain, we glimpse part of the Great Woods to the south and southeast. An army of giants could be hiding there for all we know, and we can't investigate. It would take half a day to cover the distance to even make it close to the tree line. Some 10 kilometres from our castle, we find a weather-worn stone fort upon a low hill guarding a pass. Inside is a rustic survival box of iodine, food, a compass, rope, 6 Duro bags, a toothbrush, sulphur matches, and simple bandages. We store the items in a clear Duro bag. So, supplies have been hidden about the valley. Something tells me there are more important items hidden in the countryside than little survivor kits. Weapons, transportation, armor, technology. They can't mean for us to make war with sticks and stones and metal tools. And if they don't want us to kill each other, stun weapons must soon replace our metal ones. We earn nasty sunburns that first day. The mist chills them as we return. Titus and his pack, 6 now, have just returned from a fruitless incursion to the plains. They've killed 2 goats but don't have a fire to cook with since Severo slipped off somewhere. I don't tell them about my matches. Cassius and I agree that Titus, if he wants to be the big man, should at least be able to conquer fire. Severo, wherever he is, must agree as well. Titus's boys hit metal on stone trying to create sparks, but the stones of the castle don't spark. Clever proctors. Titus's pack makes the dregs, the low drafts, fetch wood despite the fact that they have no fires. They all go hungry that night. Only Roke and Leah don't. They get some of our survival bars. I like the pair, even if they are goals, and I excuse befriending them by telling myself that I do it only to build my own tribe. Cassius seems to think that fast mid-draft girl, Quinn, will be useful, but he can make himself think that about most pretty girls. The tribes grow, and the first lesson is already underway. Antonia finds friends with a squat, sour, curly-headed fellow named Scipio, and she manages to send groups armed with shovels and axes found in the castle to garrison Deimos and Phobos. The girl may be a spoiled witch, but at least she isn't stupid. Then Titus's pack steals their axes as they sleep, and I revise my opinion. Cassius and I scout together. On the 3rd day, we see smoke rising in the distance, maybe some 20 kilometers to the east. It is like a beacon in the dusk. Enemy scouting parties would be out like us. If it were closer, or we had horses, we could investigate. Or if we had more men, we might set out overnight and plan a raid for slaves. The distance and our lack of coherence makes all the difference. Between us and the smoke are ravines and gulches that could hide war bands. Then there's many kilometers of plains to walk exposed. We won't make the trek. Not when some houses have horses. I don't tell Cassius this, but I am afraid. The highlands feel safe, But just out there in the landscape beyond are roving bands of psychotic godlings. Godlings I do not want to run across quite yet. The thought of meeting other houses is made all the more terrible by the idea that even home is not safe. It's like Octavia Aulun always says, no man can pursue any endeavour in the face of tribal warfare. We can't afford to leave Titus alone for too long. He's already stolen berries Leah and Quinn collected. And this morning, he tried to use the standard on Quinn to see if it could make slaves for his raiding parties out of the house's own members. It couldn't. We have to bind the house together somehow, Cassius tells me, as we scout the Northern Highlands. The Institute is with us for the rest of our lives. If we lose, we may never gain position. Ever. And if we're enslaved during the course of the game, I ask. He looks worriedly over at me. What worse loss could there be? As if I needed more motivation. Your father won his year, I wager. He was Primus, I ask. To be an Imperator, he'd have to have won his year. Right. Always knew he won his year, though I had no slagging idea what that meant till we got here. We both agree that in order to bind our house back together, Titus must go. But it is futile to fight him outright. That chance passed after the first day. His tribe has grown too large. I say we kill him in his sleep, Cassius suggests. You and I could do it. His words chill me. We make no decision, yet the proposition serves to remind me that he and I are different creatures. Or are we really? His wrath is a cruel, cold thing. Yet I never see the anger again, not even around Titus. He's all smiles and laughter and challenging members of Titus's pack to races and wrestling when they aren't going out on raids. Just as I am around my enemies. Yet, while I'm regarded warily by most, Cassius is loved by all except Titus's pack. He's even started sneaking off with Quinn. I like her. She killed a deer with a trap, then told a story about how she killed the thing with her teeth. Even showed us evidence. Hair between her teeth and gums along with bite marks on the deer. We thought we had a prettier Severo on our hands, till she laughed too hard to go on with the tall tale. Cassius helped her get the deer hair out of her teeth. I like a committed liar. Conditions worsen in the first few days. People remain hungry because we've yet to build a fire in the castle, and hygiene is quickly forgotten when two of our girls are snatched up by Ceres' horsemen as they bathe in the river just beneath our gate. The gulls are confused when even their fine pores begin clogging, and they gain pimples. Looks like a bee sting. Roke laughs to Cassius and me. Or a radial distant sun. I pretend to be fascinated by it, as though I didn't have them all my red life. Cassius leans forward to inspect it. Brother man, that is just... Then Roke pops the pimple right into Cassius's face, causing him to reel back and gag from disgust. Quinn falls over giggling. I do wonder sometimes, Roke begins, after Cassius has recovered, as to the purpose of all this. How can this be the most efficient method of testing our merit, of making us into beings who can rule the society? And do you ever come to a conclusion? Cassius asks warily. He keeps his distance now. Poets never do, I say. Roke chuckles. Unlike most poets, I sometimes manage, and I have our answer to this. Spit it out, Cassius urges. As though I wasn't going to without instruction from our resident prima donna. Roke sighs. They have us here because this valley was humanity before gold ruled. Fractured, disunited, even in our very own tribe. They want us to go through the process that our forefathers went through. Step by step, this game will evolve to teach us new lessons. Hierarchies within the game will develop. We'll have reds, golds, coppers. Pinks? Cassius asks hopefully. Makes sense, I say. Oh, that would be right strange. Cassius laughs, twisting his wolf ring on his finger. Mothers and fathers would be throwing fits if that went on. Probably why Titus leers at the girls. He likely wants a toy. Speaking of toys, where did he send Vixus? I laugh. Vixus, likely the most dangerous of Titus's followers, and the others, departed nearly 2 hours ago on Titus's orders to use Phobos Tower's height advantage to scout the plains in preparation for a raid on House Ceres. It'd be best to have Vixus on our side if we make a play, I say. He's Titus's right hand. Roke continues on a different train of thought. I don't know about pinks, Roke says. The idea of a gold being a pink offends him. But the rest is simple. This is a microcosm of the solar system. Seems to me like capture the flag with swords, if you recall that game, I reply. I never played the sport, but my studying with Matteo brought me up to speed on the games these children played in their parents' gardens. Mm-hmm. Cassius nods. He shoves a mock serious finger in Rogue's chest. Agreed. So you can take your quick talk and put it where the sun dare not shine, Rogue. We two great minds have decided. It's a game of capture the flag. I see, Rogue laughs. Not all men can understand metaphor and subtlety like me. But do not fear, muscular friends. I will be here to guide you through the mind-bending things. For instance, I can tell you that our first test will be to piece the house back together again before an enemy comes a-knocking. Hell, I mutter, looking out over the edge of the parapet. Something in your bum? Cassius asks. Looks like the game just started. I point downward. Across the glen, just where the forest meets the grass plain, Vixus drags a girl by her hair, the first slave of House Mars. And far from being revolted, I'm jealous. Jealous that I did not capture her. Titus's minion did. And that means that Titus now wields credibility. Chapter 23. Fracture. Though we all still sleep under the same roof, it took only 4 days for the house to dissolve into 4 tribes. Antonia, apparently the scion of a family that owns a sizable asteroid belt, gets the mid-drafters, the talkers, the whiners, the brains, the dependents, the wimps, the snobs, and the politicos. Titus draws mostly high drafts or mid-drafts, the physical specimens, the violent, the fast, the intrepid, the prototypically intelligent, the ambitious, the opportunists, the obvious selection for House Mars. The prodigy pianist, quiet Cassandra, is his. So is raspy Pollux, and the psychotic Vixus, who shivers with pleasure at the mere idea of putting metal into flesh. If Cassius and I had been more political, we might have managed to steal the high drafts from Titus. Hell, we might have had everyone ready to follow if we just told them they had to obey. After all, Cassius and I were the strongest for a brief moment. But then we gave Titus time to intimidate, and Antonia time to manipulate. Damned Antonia, I say. Cassius laughs and shakes his golden head as we bound east along the highlands in search of more hidden caches of supplies. My long legs can cover a kilometre in just over a minute. Oh, you come to expect these things from her. If our families hadn't spent holidays together when we were little things, I might have called her out as a Democrat on the first day. But she's hardly that. More like Caesar, or what do they call them? Presidents? A tyrant in necessity's clothing. She's a turd in the swill bowl. I say. What the gory slag does that mean? Cassius laughs. Uncle Nero could have told him. Sorry? Oh. Heard it in Yorkton once from a high red. Means she's a fly on the wine. A high red? Cassius snorts. One of my nannies was a high red. I know. Odd. Should have been a brown. But the woman would tell me stories as I tried to go to sleep. That's nice, I say. I thought her an uppity bugger. Tried to tell Mother to make her shut up and leave me alone, because all she wanted to do was talk about veils and dreary romances that always ended in some sort of sadness. Depressing creature. What does your mother do when you complained? Mother? Ha! She clapped me on the head and said, there's always something to learn from anybody, even a high red. She and Father like to pretend they're progressives. Confuses me. He shakes his head. But Yorkton? Julian couldn't believe you were from Yorkton. The darkness returns in me. Even thinking of Io doesn't dispel it. Even thinking of my noble mission and all the license it gives me doesn't banish the guilt. I am the only one who shouldn't feel guilty for the passage, yet, besides Rogue, I think I'm the only one who does. I look at my hands and remember Julian's blood. Cassius points up suddenly to the sky southwest of us. What the gory hell? Dozens of blinking medbots pouring from floating Olympus's castle. We hear their distant whine. Proctors flicker after them like flaming arrows toward the distant southern mountains. Whatever has happened, one thing is certain. Chaos reigns in the south. Although my tribe continues to sleep in the castle, we've moved from the high tower to the gatehouse, so we don't have to rub shoulders with Titus's lot. To keep safe, we leave our cooking a secret. We meet our tribe for supper by a loch in the northern highlands. They're not all high drafts. We have some, Cassius and Rogue, but then no one above 17th pick. We've some mid-drafts, Quinn and Leah, but the rest are the dregs, the low drafts. Clown, Screwface, Weed, Pebble, and Thistle. This bothers Cassius even though the dregs of the Institute are still certifiably superhuman compared with the rest of the colours. They are athletic. They are resilient. They never ask you to repeat yourself unless you're making a point. And they accept my orders, even anticipating what next I'll ask them to do. I credit their less privileged upbringings. Most are smarter than I. But I have that unique thing they call slang smarts, proven by my high score in the extrapolation intelligence test. Not that it matters. I have sulfur matches, and that makes me the god Prometheus. Neither Antonia nor Titus have fire, as far as I know. So I'm the only one who can fill bellies. I make each of my tribe kill goats or sheep. No one is allowed to freeload, even though Screwface tries his best. They don't notice my hands trembling when I cut my first goat's throat with a knife. There's so much trust in the beast's eyes, followed by confusion as it dies, still thinking me its friend. The blood is warm, like Julian's. The neck muscle tough. I have to saw with the dull knife, just as Leah does when she kills her first sheep, squealing as she does it. I make her skin it too, with Thistle's help. And when she cannot, I take her hands into my own and guide her along, giving her my strength. Daddy going to have to cut up your meat for you too? Thistle taunts. Shut it, Rogue says. She can fight her own battles, Rogue. Leah, Thistle asked you a question. Leah blinks over at me, wide eyes confused. Ask her another, Thistle. What's going to happen when we get in a tight spot with Titus? Will you squeal then too? Child. Thistle knows what I want her to do. I asked her to do it 30 minutes ago before I brought the goat to Leah. I motion my head at Leah, to Thistle. You going to cry? Thistle asks. Wipe your eyes and... Leah snarls and jumps at her. The two roll around, punching each other in the face. It's not long before Thistle's got Leah in a chokehold. Roke stirs beside me. Quinn pulls him back down. Leah's face goes purple. Her hands slap at Thistle's. Then she passes out. I give Thistle a nod of thanks. The dark-faced girl gives a slow nod. Leah's shoulders are squarer the next morning. She even musters enough courage to hold Roke's hand. She also claimed to be a better cook than the rest of us. She isn't. Roke tries his hand, but he's hardly any better. Eating their grub is like taking down stringy, dry sponges. Even Quinn, with all her stories, can't muster up a recipe. We cook goat and deer meat over our camp kitchen 6 kilometers from the castle, and we do it at night in the gulches so the light and smoke cannot be seen. We do not kill the sheep. Instead, we collect and deposit them in a northern fort for safekeeping. I could bring more over to my tribe with the food, but the food is as big a danger as it is a boon. What Titus and his killers would do if he found that we had fire, food, clean water. I am returning to the castle with Roke from a scouting trip to the south, when we hear noises coming from a small grove of trees. Creeping closer, we hear grunts and hacking sounds. Expecting to see a wolf pack ravaging a goat, we peer through the brush and find 4 of Titus's soldiers squatting around a deer corpse. Their faces are bloody, eyes dark and ravenous, as they tear strips out of the dead deer with their knives. 5 days without fire. 5 days of bad berries, and they've already turned into savages. We have to give them matches, Roke tells me afterward. The stones here don't spark with flint. No. If we give them matches, then Titus will have even more power. Does it matter at this point? They are going to get sick if they keep eating raw meat. They already are sick. So, they shit their pants. I grunt. There are worse things. Tell me, Darrow, would it be worse to have Titus in power and have Mars strong, or for Darrow to be in power with Mars weak? Better for whom? I ask petulantly. He only shakes his head. Let them rot their gory bellies, is Cassius's opinion. They made their beds, now let them shit in them. My army agrees. I am fond of my army, the dregs, the low drafts. They aren't as entitled or well-bred as the high drafts. Most remember to thank me when I give them food. At first, they didn't. They don't prance off after Titus on midnight axe raids simply because it gets their jollies off. No, they follow us because Cassius is as charismatic as the sun, and, in his light, the shadow I cast looks like it knows what it's doing. It doesn't. It, like me, was born in a mine. Still, it does seem like I have some strategy. I have us make maps of our territory on digislates we found in a waterlogged cellar at the bottom of a ravine. But we still have no weapons other than my sling blade and several knives and sharpened sticks. So whatever strategy we have is based on acquiring information. Funny thing is, only one tribe has a silver shit's idea of what is going on. And it's not ours. It's not Antonia's. And it sure as hell isn't Titus's. It's Sevro's. And I'm nearly certain he's the only member in that tribe. Unless he's adopted wolves by now. It's hard to say if he has or hasn't. Our house doesn't have family dinners. Though occasionally we'll see him running along the hillsides at night in his wolfskin, looking, as Cassius put it best, like some sort of hairy demon child on hallucinogens. And once Roke even heard something, not a wolf, howling in the shrouded highlands. Some days, Severo walks around, all normalish, insulting everything that moves, except for Quinn. He makes an exception for her, delivering meats and edible mushrooms instead of insults. I think he's sweet on her, even though she's sweet on Cassius. We ask her to tell us stories about him, but she won't. She's loyal, and maybe that's why she reminds me of home. She's always telling good stories, most of them certainly gilded lies. A life spark is in her, just like the one that was in my wife. She's the last of us to call Goblin Severo. She's also the only one who knows where he lives. Even with all our scouting, we can't find a trace of where he sleeps. For all I know, he's out taking scalps beyond the Highlands. I know Titus has sent scouts to stalk him, but I don't think they're successful. They can't even follow me. I know that rubs Titus raw. I think he's wanking off in the bushes. Cassius chuckles. Just waiting for us all to kill each other. It's when Leah comes limping back to the castle that Roke seeks Cassius and me out. They beat her, he says. Not bad, but they kicked her in the stomach and took her day's labor. Who? Cassius bristles. Who's the slagger? Doesn't matter. What matters is they are hungry, so stop playing at an eye for an eye. This can't go on, Roke says. Titus's boys are starving. What do you expect they'd do? Hell, the big brute is hunting Goblin because he needs fire and food. If we just give that to him, we can unite the house, maintain civility. Maybe even Antonia will bring her tribe to reason. Antonia? Reason? Cassius asks, guffawing. Even if that happens, Titus will still be the most powerful, I say. And that's not the cure for anything. Ah, yes, that's something you can't abide. Someone else having power. Fine then. Roke tugs at his long hair. Talk to Vixus or Pollux. Take away his captains if you must. But heal the house, Darrow. Otherwise we'll lose when another house comes knocking. On the 6th day, I take his advice. Knowing Titus is out raiding, I risk seeing Vixus in the keep. Unfortunately, Titus returns earlier than expected. You're looking lively and spry, he says to me, before I can find Vixus in the keep's stone holes. He blocks my path with his large body, shoulders nearly spanning the width of the hall. I feel another in the hallway behind me. Vixus, and 2 others. My stomach sinks a little. It was stupid to do this. Where are you going, if I may ask? I wanted to compare our scouting maps to the main map in the command room. I lie, knowing I have a digislate in my pocket. Oh, you wanted to compare scouting maps to the main map. For the good of Mars, noble Darrow. What other good is there? I ask. We are all on the same side. No? Oh, we are on the same side, he says. Titus booms an insincere laugh. Vixus, if we are on the same side, don't you think it would be best if we shared his little maps with one another? It would be for the very best, Vixus agrees. Mushrooms, maps, all the same. So, he assaulted little Leah. His eyes are dead, like raven eyes. Yes, so I'll take a look for you, Darrow. Titus snatches the scouting maps from me. There's nothing I can do to stop him. You're welcome to them, I say. So long as you know there are enemy fires to the far east and likely enemies in the Great Woods to the south. Raid all you like. Just don't get caught with your pants down.
What is it?
Titus sniffs the air. He wasn't listening to me. Since we are sharing, Darrow,
Speak quick.
he sniffs again, closer to my neck. Perhaps you'll share with us why you smell like wood smoke.
And you are...
I stiffen, not knowing what to do. Look at him squirm. Look at him weave a lie. Titus's voice is all disgust. I can smell your deceit. Smell the lies dripping from you like sweat. Like a woman in heat, Pollux says sardonically. He shrugs apologetically at me. Disgusting. Vixus sneers. He's a vile thing. A wretched, womanish thing. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to turn him on Titus. You're a little parasite. Titus continues, nibbling away at morale because you will not come to heal. Waiting for my noble boys and girls to starve. They're closing in on me from behind, from the sides. Titus is huge. Pollux and Vixus are cruel, nearly as big as I. You're a wretched creature. A worm in our spine.
What now?
I shrug, casually, trying to let them think I'm not worried. We can fix this, I say. Oh? Titus asks. The solution is simple, big man. I counsel. Bring your boys and girls home. Stop raiding Ceres every day before some other house comes in and slaughters you all.